And we are live. What's up, people? Welcome to the Monday show. Um, Renata, you want to do the honors? Just let everybody know we're live. So seems like you have some action going on over there. Okay, please do the honors.
Hey guys, good evening. Welcome to Brazil, Brazil with Renata Lopez. And tonight the live is we go talk about divorce.
Hmm?
Yes.
Divorce in
And
Brazil.
I hope you guys like, I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe in the channel.
Okay, well, as you know already, this is the Monday show. We are here every Monday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we talk about everything Brazil. Right now, particularly Rio de Janeiro, where Renata shows all of you, all the people that are interested in coming to Brazil, who have been to Brazil, who want to come to Brazil, places to go, things to see, and just basically any information you want, we will
Yeah,
try to get for you.
a little bit the culture, what the peoples they think about, everything.
Yes, yes, yes. So, hi to everyone. David G says, good thumbnail. Yes, that was a good thumbnail. It was kind of depressing though. Bedina Bebe, good evening. Abraham Gustavo Guitu Perez Montero. That's a long name, man. Boa noite, Renata. The force is here. Brazil, Brazil with Renata Lopez from Lando Calrissian. How's the ship? Okay, so before we get into the video, uh, let's talk about the next show. What are we doing on Thursday? We always like to tell people what's coming up. Last show we had a vote to see what people wanted to know, and it was between this Brazil interview and an interview talking about what was it, prenuptials?
Prenuptials.
What was the other interview?
Before?
Yeah, the one we voted for.
No,
Oh,
the
platonic. Platonic.
no,
What was?
the we have the guys they prefer talk about divorce, but the other one we tell the guys to choose it's seriously like truth, friend relationship or second intention.
Yeah, platonic relations. Okay, so Thursday show is going to talk about platonic relationships between men and women in Brazil. Uh, I haven't received the questions yet, so I don't know what Renata's going to come with, but it should be interesting. Today's show is about divorce. So we want to kind of dive into the differences of mentality between Brazilians and Americans. Because in America here, we kind of have this, well, it's gotten pretty ugly and pretty messy with this whole divorce thing and people not wanting to get married almost, or at least we know that most marriages end in divorce here in America. I believe that the statistics in Brazil are close to the same. Do you know, Renata? I'm looking at the statistica um, for your country right now, but it's not really clear. It's showing me like people that are divorced that have been married for less than 10 years, for more than 10 years, more than it's not just telling
Yeah,
me.
most the peoples get divorced. It's between 7 to 12, 13 years.
No,
That's what I see.
most of the people that get divorced is less than 10 years, and that's almost 50%. 10 to 19 years is 24%.
Wow.
And 20 years or more is 26%. This is the 2020 census. But I don't have just a clear cut like um, overall. So whatever it is whatever it is. But this should be interesting because even me watching the interviews, I was a little bit surprised. The attitude seemed to be a little bit different. But then again, it's not like I have interviewed thousands of people in America to really see um, what the vast majority thinks. So it's what we think in this room, guys. Do we think the same like Brazilians? The people are that are in here that are not Brazilian? Who knows? Ed Smith. I want to thank Ed Smith. I also like to call him Ed 13 because every week he drops $13 in Cash App. So thank you, Ed Smith. Ed 13. Ed 13. Keep dropping those 13s, man. I don't know what that's about, but hey, man, it's welcome. Um, yeah. Okay. So, do you want to start the video now, or do you want to talk some more? Do you have anything else you want to say? Do you want to comment about your findings?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Do you want to say something about it? Go ahead.
Just
What's your
put
thought?
you have the questions ready?
Yeah. Do you want to go through them?
Yes.
Oh, see, good thing I set that up because I didn't know. All right, and we did put the questions in the description, I believe, when we put up the live stream post. What is a good reason to get divorced? Are we going to go through these if we're going to watch the interview?
Yes. The good reasons. I want to know, you guys, the good reason to get divorced.
Oh, you want to know from them? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for me, from my side, it's the trust.
If you lose trust, you get divorced.
If now have a trust inside the relationship, yes.
Okay. All right.
And Dennis and guys,
Good reason
I
to
want
get divorced?
you guys, yes, to get divorced. Come on, guys. I want to know your
Well, for
reason.
me, I want to try whatever I can try to stay together. Like I'll fight for it. But for me, when the love is not there anymore and things get contentious, you lose that friendship because the love part, it comes in waves. You feel it sometimes, that infatuation. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes, but then the friendship is the base of it. Once you lose that friendship, once you lose, you know, that love, you just start feeling stressed. I was married once, and for me, it just got stressful to the point I was getting sick, physically sick, and to save myself, I had to get out. So I really stuck it through, and I stayed way longer than I should have. But that's just my character. I don't run. I stick it through. So, but there has to be a point where you call it, and you have to one look out for yourself first. You have to love yourself first. That is the number one rule. It sounds like something selfish, but you just have to. Um, because once you're good with yourself, it makes you gives you that ability to deal with other people. So anybody have any comments? Also, oh, here's an interesting comment from Dominican Don Juan.
What?
He says, "What do you do with your children if you don't trust them?" That kind of came out of left field, but that's interesting. You don't trust your kids. That's called unconditional love, man. You still gotta love them. Well, I mean, ideally, you still gotta love them.
Love, it's nothing with trust.
You
I
just you
don't,
just said that if you don't trust the person you love, you divorce them. So obviously, love has something to do with
I don't
trust.
say if I don't love the person, you know, I say trust.
Okay.
Because if you don't trust, then you're not happy. You fight most the time because for the reason that you not trust. And then you can be happy if you fight most the time. So if you're not happy, then it's not good.
Mm-hmm. But what do you do with your kids if you don't trust them? That was the question.
Oh my God, the kids, it's nothing included this
You divorce
because
your kids?
the kids, it's I'm in a relation with my kids, but not that type of relation when I can get divorced with
And
them.
you know what, you can not trust your kids. Like kids go through these phases and these periods where you're just like and you got to watch them because and you got to check their phone and you got to do all kind of things because of course they're gonna lie to you. I mean that's the rite of passage, man. Kids got to rebel. So I don't know how good of a question that really is because you still got to love them anyways. um
Yeah.
Here's KBS Travels. He says, when you don't feel it anymore, just move on. Basically, it's to find peace. Um, yeah, but you also have to choose when you move on because you don't want to just jump ship real fast. A marriage is something that's very, very complicated to get into, right? Sort of like it's oh no, it's complicated to get out of. So when you enter a marriage, it really tries to tie you up, right? Legally. Um, so it you don't want to be getting into a situation where it sounds that easy. Oh, just move on. Well, man, that's sounds pretty easy. Uh, okay, what else? Who else has a comment? I live live travel tour says I want to know a good reason to get married. Not a good reason to get divorced, a good reason to get married from a male's perspective. Um, yeah, these days, why get married? This is what I was telling you before, and at the last week when we kind of got into it um, on the live, one of the things you didn't like was me saying that all like guys have to think about breaking up. What happens when you get divorced? And you were like, nobody thinks about getting divorced when they're getting married. I said, yeah, you got to think about that because there's all kind of legal things and if you have money, property, kids, like there's a lot of things you have to think about. And you want to be romantic and say, oh, I love this person, I want to be with them for the rest of their life. But you have to these days really think about when you split up, what happens. And I think that goes to what he's saying here. What's a good reason to get married? Why would a guy want to get married in today's day and age? Guys less and less are trying to get married. Why do you think that is, Nata?
The reason for the married for me it's only one when you love the person.
You're a romantic. I don't know what to tell you. But if you ask a lot of guys that now, okay, why would you get married? Just because you love somebody? I could love them. I don't have to marry them. I could love them. I could live with them. I can be with them. Why
Yeah,
get married?
when the guy want to marry some woman, the first thing they want to do is just change her name, take off her name, the last name, and put his name on it.
Is that really that big of a deal, guys? Maybe when I was 20, I thought that was a big deal. Now, who cares? If I love you and we're together, we're together. What marriage? What are we going to get into that messiness for? So what? This is a good question.
Yeah, but that's about, that's what you say before. People's they think like that before. Now people's they just start to give up about marriage, just live together
Yeah.
because the rule is more or less the same.
Dominican says marriage is for building a family and you and your wife's legacy. Yeah, but that I think that's becoming less and less important, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong, but these days it's like things have changed so much. Like even when people get married now, what the women want to keep their last names, and like things are, it's just kind of like why do it? Like what's the benefit? Especially in this environment where 50% of marriages fail. What's the benefit of getting into something where you're gambling at a 50-50 rate? And then when you do split up, it's so messy and so hard to separate things. It, I don't know. Charles says, I want her to have my last name. Hmm. Uh,
You see?
here's a comment from
One.
Fish Dogs. For me, I got divorced, not my idea, to a Cuban woman, but we were very good friends and call her every day just about. Alcohol was a big issue with me at the time, but over that hump. So he went through some things.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the world today that make it very difficult, more and more difficult for marriages to work. So it's a lot. Let's let's go to the next question. Did I get everybody uh, that had a comment? I'm not sure. Infidelidade is what Lando Calrissian says. Yeah, yeah, that's a good reason for divorce, right?
Yes.
Of course, because that's what happens. You lose trust with the person. You make a promise to the person, they make a promise to you, and they break that promise in, and it's hard to bounce back from that. Okay, sorry. There was a next question. Um, what do you think about divorce? Well, we kind of
Let me ask, and the guys, if they accepted, let's say if the woman cheated them, go with another guy, if they like consider like forgive, or they just get divorced.
okay, guys. Do you accept? Would you forgive? I guess is the question. Would you forgive your
That's the
wife
thing.
if
Forgive
she cheated?
or just get the divorce.
Backpack Mo says, "Hell to the no, hell no, hell to the no, no, no." Dominican Don one says it depends on the circumstances.
Yeah, I have one friend mine. I discussed with him yesterday, and he say she's cheating him, and he's not separate for her because he's also not faithful to her. So then he's forgive her what she did it.
Does she know that he's unfaithful?
I'm sure yes.
So that can be a little toxic if you guys are both doing the dirt. I mean,
And what I know him, yes, he's like to have different women. So, and I'm sure I don't know, she's found something and she's do it, you know, and he's found it.
Uh,
And he told me, he say, Renata, what I can do, you know.
okay.
I'm not good to her. I'm faithful to her. So why not forgive her?
Yeah, it's a little bit of tricky situation, and also I think maybe one of the big arguments or debates in the manosphere these days is that a man cheating and a woman cheating is two different things, because men, from what they say, have the ability to to cheat and still love their wife. It can just be physical act, just like a physical thing. They just wanna, and it has nothing to do with feelings or needing to feel love from somebody. It could just be a physical thing, where women do it for a whole other reason, like they're missing something, they missing love, they have there's feelings involved, more than when men do. So it can often hurt a man more when a woman is cheating than if a man cheats. Yes, he can come back home right after and hug his wife and love his wife. Where when a woman's cheating, it's usually something a little bit different, I think. And I kind of agree with that a little bit. What do you think?
I think some guys, you know, they have the wife for years. She's the care of the home. She's a very good person, and she's the care of the kids. Some guys, they know não posso believe her. She's not the matter if they have other women out. They stay with her forever because she's a good person. She's the care of the house. He's never have some miss problem with her. You know, she's always been the queen. But yes, after few years, you know, like a lot of years married, not few, a lot of years married. Yeah, these guys, the attractions, I don't know, maybe that's the answer. What they lost and what it's make the guys look for the women's.
Hmm. Okay. Let me just read a couple of these comments before we move on. Dominican Don One says, in the United States, marriage is a legal contract with the state, which is why when it ends, you go to court rather than your pasture. Yes. Charles Jones, what's up? He says, sorry, he's late. You're not late. You're good. Abram Gustavo Guiti Perez Montero. A long name. From a man's perspective, marriage means taking care of a woman intimately, provision, building a legacy, building generational wealth, and a safe haven, protection from the cruelties of the world. Yes, that's a very manly answer, but it's true. Um, Charles says absolutely not. If she cheats, he's gone. And travel live travel tour says definitely not. JB says if she cheats, beat your feet. I'm too sensitive for that. Uh,
Oh boy.
if it's a one night stand, cheating, then maybe, but for a full blown out affair, I'm out. So yeah, this is the thing. Like I was saying, I think sometimes, well, it seems like haven't spoken personally to enough women, but all the things I've seen on the manosphere is when women cheat, it's usually deeper than just a one night stand. It's like they usually cheat with somebody that they know, that they like. It's an affair of the heart more than a physical thing. Where men can just it could just be physical. They're out. They're done, and they're not planning to leave. They're not trying to do all that. So it might be a little bit different. Um, Abraham says, for infidelity, I wouldn't accept or forgive her for it. If I do accept it, it further deepens the disrespect that she has for me. Marcus, if it were an accident, like if she slipped, fell, landed on his D, Renata,
Sorry.
do you need
What?
to take care of that? Uh, Marcus says if it was an accident, like she slipped, fell on his D, I could understand. Just joking. I likely wouldn't continue, but few things are black and white. JB says, forgive my ass. Um, yeah, it's harder for a man to accept infidelity because of ego. That's from Fabian Scott. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go back to that. Yeah, for a guy, because of the things that I said, because of the things that I said, where women do it because they're missing something, they're looking for something, feelings are involved. They're usually having an affair, not just cheating, not just one night stand. They're usually having an affair, and for a man to accept that, and for other people to know, like if people know in the community, that's like deep shame. I think it's I'm sure it's shame for women too, obviously, but I think it's a little bit deeper when it's a woman cheating. I might be biased. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I try to understand. Because when women's they cheat on the guy, it's really hard, difficult to the guy accept it. But when the guy, it's opposite the situation. The guys think the woman's supposed to be forgive them. Why?
Because I like I said, a guy can love his woman, but still, if the opportunity is there, he might want to just do that, and it has nothing to do with his feelings for his woman, so he can come back to her and love her.
Yeah, maybe for some women's the same.
Maybe,
The
but
guy, he's working a lot, back home tired, don't give her attention, don't give her sex. And then the woman, when she have, what say, the opportunity, then she's do it, but she's not want. She only think about this because she's love him. But she's doing because, let's say, about this situation when the guy working, don't give her attention, don't give her sex, and for some down feelings, when the women's they feel a little bit low or down about the tension, yes, then it's happened.
yeah, it's a hard one. I don't, I don't want to just spew out what I've heard on the manosphere, what I've heard from all the red pill guys or the purple pill guys or the blue. I don't know. I don't want to pretend I know. But yeah, I understand why it's confusing for you, Hinata. It's a little bit confusing, but I can see. I think I lean more to that it's harder for a man to accept. Maybe just because media, maybe. Well,
I think it's for the both side.
I think on a
Men's come back at home and they don't feel lovely for the wife. You understand? The touch, the caresses, the attention, the affectionate. You understand?
yes,
Some guys stay back home, I have headaches. Same when some guys back home, I'm tired. Same when the woman's want to have sex with some guys and the guys say, oh, the sex it's not so important. I just want to be close to you, and the woman's want. So some things like this, let's say, it's possible make the reason the guy to being faithful and the woman to being faithful.
okay. I think there's also a physical component to this, biological component. Men are made to spread their seed, right? Men are made to have sex with a lot of women to impregnate. That's what drives men, right? That's why they develop so much sperm, because that's what they're supposed to be doing, like on a biological level. Women, they got one egg a month. They're supposed to have, when they have a child, it's a bigger risk for them. It's more of an investment, because now they got to invest 9 months carrying a child. They got to raise a child. They got to take care of a child. That's their child, right? Where a guy can go and have 100 babies in 9 months, really. So I think that plays into it as well. That must play into the psychology, because if a guy can go and spread out like that and a woman can't, she's more risk. So when she cheats, she's taking a way bigger risk. I think we got to think about that. But hold on, Dennis Sperling with the 1999 super chat. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
All this helps. Hinata is out on the road doing the interviews, showing you guys all this stuff. Please support. Let me put this up as well. Okay. And also we have another super chat from Bedina Bebe. 1111. You guys are coming with these fancy numbers. I like it.
Thank you very much, guys.
Much appreciated. And well, hold on. Let's go back to Dennis. He says showing some love, showing you some love. Thank you to Hinata as well. And Bedina says physical abuse is the worst. Yeah.
So,
we're not there. If we talk about why people get divorced, yeah, that's okay. So yeah, as I was saying, so with that said, with the biological side of it, if that plays into the psychological part of it, then yeah, it's a bigger deal, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, when a woman cheats and takes that bigger risk. And yeah, so I think there is a difference, but we're not really here to debate this today. Let me get to some of these comments.
what, Dennis? Show what?
Okay, well, I'm gonna go. Okay, is northern Brazil or southern Brazil a factor in being with somebody for life? Do you think it makes a difference if you're in northern Brazil or southern Brazil? More people get married in northern Brazil? Or I don't know. Do you any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, from Brazil, what that I see, people, they live more together. They start to, they decide like live together instead married.
Yeah, but what his question is kind of strange. I think you need to be a little bit more specific, because I'm not really getting that. He's asking if northern Brazil or southern Brazil makes a difference with somebody being with somebody for life. I don't know why it would make a difference.
No.
Marcus says men typically tend to care more about physical infidelity, ego, as Fabian mentioned, but it's truly the emotional that we should worry about. Yeah. And if we're worried more about the emotional, then you're probably more worried about a woman cheating, because it's probably more of an emotional component than just physical, like when a lot of men cheat. So that there could be something said about that. Robert Jackson says, if the woman cheated on me with a woman, then apologized with a threesome, I might forgive her. However, I can't forgive her if she cheats with a man.
What, Dennis? What?
If the woman cheated on, he says, if the woman cheated on me with another woman, and then apologized by making
Oh,
them all
okay.
do a threesome, then he might forgive her. But if it's a
Yes.
man, no, he's not gonna forgive her. I could see that. I could see a lot of guys thinking like that. Um, do you have anything to say about that, Hanata? Oh, what are you drinking today? Saúde.
Saúde.
Water?
Water.
Sober day? Okay. Dominican Don one says, so are we even going to talk
Well,
about?
for me, cheating is cheating. Not the matter it's a man or woman. I don't possibly consider because my man go with different guy. That is, you know.
We're not talking about that.
I know I'm joke, but do you see what I say? When you concert guys in faithful, it's like more natural than women's to be faithful. So when women go with other women, cheating, it's like sounds like more natural for the guys. They give they some they um, forgive.
Well, I think they'll
Yeah,
be
but
like he
when
says.
it's sound different, then you guys go, oh,
I
no,
think it's a little bit
that's
more, a little bit easier. Like he says, if the woman says, "Okay, we'll do a threesome with the girl." Anyways,
it's
uh,
no, it's because it's some men, in Brazil, they cheat on their wife, but with another man.
okay. Let's change the subject. Dominican Don one. So, are we even going to talk about the marriage vows you made that says until death, sick, sicker or poor, better or worse? Yeah, that doesn't really apply in today's world. I think that's just words now. It used to be a time where it was very serious, and there's still some cultures around the world where it's very serious. But here in the Western world, I mean, it's marriage until you get sick of the next person, until you know, till you're not happy. It's so easy to get out of it. I guess that's what marriage is supposed to be, legally binding and binding in the church, so that it pushes you to stay with the person more. But with all the things going on in this world, it's just harder and harder and harder to stay in a marriage, between social media and just the way things are marketed to us. It just seems like maybe marriage is a dying thing. Like it's becoming less and less popular. I don't know. You guys tell me. David G says, "I think private marriage is the key. Is the way to go. Keep the state out of your personal affairs." Yeah, well, even private marriages, they've figured out a way to keep it not private by making this thing called common law marriage. So when you live with somebody for a certain amount of time of the opposite sex, you're kind of legally married, and the person can still you could still have a lot of problems, the same amount of problems getting in and out of the relationship once you've lived with somebody for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. What I see, what I think about, you know, divorce or married, what I think about is it's good when you're married, and change the names. You think you stay with the person forever, but I don't think, it's nothing put you to the life for the person more than kids. You understand? You can sign the paper, you can marry, but one day you get divorced and split out. You understand?
Yeah.
Then sometimes it's people, they just lost the contact because they don't have any vínculo. I don't know how to call in English vínculo. But when you have kids, That's the main thing for the marriage. I think when you have kids, that's even more,
Well,
like
that's really the purpose of a marriage, right? To have a family. So it's to raise kids, and kids statistically do better when they're in a home where the couple is married, like or
no,
together, like men and women are both in the house.
friends, they divorced before they have kids, and they are together with the other persons already, and these other persons, they have kids for the first married also, and now they just decide get married. It's nothing with kids because
No, what I'm saying to you is when there's a couple raising a child, there's more chance of success. So I'm saying the purpose of marriage is to raise a family,
mm,
right? Pre- um, base, Basically, yeah, you love each other or whatever, but the traditional reason for marriage is you get married and you have a family, you raise a family. Can we agree with that? Am I going crazy here? Or? Okay. Dominican Don Juan with the 1984 uh, super chat. I don't know. Is that the year you were born? That's such a you guys with the random numbers.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Definitely appreciated. Okay, let me get to more of these. A lot of comments coming in here. We didn't even start the video yet. Here's something a little bit off. Kevin Robinson Jr. says, if you know little to no Portuguese, will women be interested in you? Go back on some of our shows. Renata, you want to answer that question?
Yes, yes, 100% sure.
Yeah. We've done interviews and asked women this question. If will you date a guy that doesn't know Portuguese? Could you be with a guy that doesn't know Portuguese? And pretty much universally they all say, yeah, no problem. A couple here and there, but for no problem. Right now we got these apps on the phone you can use, and hopefully if you get into a relationship, especially if it's long term, you're gonna want to
Yeah, the problem is
learn the language.
relationship. It's not because the language, it's because the distance.
Mm. Here's a comment from Dominican. Men can compartmentalize sex from emotions, and most women cannot. So when it happens, it hits harder for men. You understand that?
No, you talk too fast.
Men can compartmentalize sex. That means they can say, "Oh, this is just sex," and and they compartmentalize it from emotions.
Oh,
So
I
you can say, "I
understand.
have sex with this person, but I love this person." That men can kind of do that better than women. Women, it's more emotional. So that's why for a
Yeah,
man,
but it's possible day it's get happens. He's date with somebody else and he's feel a little bit more than just a moment. You understand?
yeah, it can happen, and then that's when it.
When you see his relation, it's completely fuck up.
Don't curse, please.
Sorry, but I mean, uh, I just learned this word and I like it. I don't know why, but um, what I say is, men's they possibly separate, the love feeling for their wife and some fun moments with other women. The point is, one day it's possible be happen. He's just really feel attraction and feel something special for the other woman. And then when he see it, the life, the feeling for his wife, it's not anymore the same. And then it's possible be problem in his relation with the time because he's going to bed with his wife and he's now feel more like this feeling.
Yeah, it can happen, but what we're saying is for women, it's more likely to be the feeling, especially in the beginning. A man can just go out, and not all men can do it, but a lot of men can
Well,
just go
when
out.
the woman's, what I possibly say for some women's, the point is the woman's, it's difficult to cheating because the woman's I don't know, they are more sensitive about feelings than the men's, from my view. If they fall in love for another guy, then it's a problem. You know, they can show very fast that they're not more interesting because something's happens, something's going on, and then you guys soon, you know, just know about it.
Here's a comment from Bianca Lopez.
Oh, excuse, she's not feel the same anymore.
Bianca says most men cheat when they are betrayed. They don't forgive. Long live hypocrisy. What Bianca doesn't even speak English. What is she doing?
She not speak English, Sam. You guys don't speak Portuguese, but she use the Google Translate, Sam. What
Very
you guys?
good, Bianca. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not fair, but that's because men and women are different, and I think when you see things like this, you really see the differences come out. It's a hard one for me to comment on because in your head you know what's right and wrong, but then you also can see two different sides, and it gets messy. Yeah, and we're going into abuse, and yes. Okay, it's hard for a man to it's harder for a man to have an emotional affair and come home to his wife than a physical affair. Yeah. Well, that's what we were saying. Like if it's just a physical thing, guys will go out and do their thing and come home and crawl into bed with their wife and hug them and love them and be okay with it. But I'm not saying all men can do that, but I hear a lot of that. Okay, let's get to the video because we're already, holy smokes, we're almost an hour in and we didn't even play the video yet. Let's just do one more question and then we're going to go get to the video. Or one more comment. In Brazil, is Brazil extremely religious? With Portugal colonizing and bringing Catholicism with them, but other religions have a strong presence now. Does various denominations frown on divorce? So does religion play a big factor, Renata, in Brazil on people getting divorced?
Well,
like I just want to give an example in some other places where the religion is big and the church is involved in people's lives. When you're going to get a divorce, they want you to go see a pastor. They want you to get counseling. They want you to do all kind of things in the church to keep you together. Is this?
Yes, when the family they are religious, yes.
But is this a big thing in Brazil?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay, let's get to the video. See what people have to say. Let's pause this and get into it.
Hey guys, welcome to Brazil with Renata Lopes, and today we go talk about divorce. What the people they think about divorce, and I hope you guys like, I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and come with me. Now I'm here with Isis. Say hello.
Hello.
Let me ask her, what is good reason to get divorce?
As razões que normalmente levam as pessoas ao divórcio na maioria das vezes, são conflitos de comunicação, dificuldades que elas têm de se comunicar e colocar claramente os seus pontos, suas necessidades, seus desejos. Isso objetivamente, né? As pessoas acreditam que o outro vai saber o que é difícil para elas, o que magoa, mas a verdade é que isso é um aspecto interno, né? Ninguém sabe. Então acontecem muitos conflitos por isso.
No caso, o entendimento, né?
É.
Yes, she say to understand each other. In a relationship, it's have many conflicts. People, they don't talk each other, they don't get to know to understand each other. So about these conflicts, then most of the times it's the reason why they get divorced. What do you think about divorce?
Acho que é algo que é necessário quando há muita confusão, muitos problemas, mas precisa ser pensado direitinho, precisa ser considerado a possibilidade de estar no relacionamento, de manter o relacionamento.
Yes. She say the divorce people, they need to take care to get really to this decision, careful with decision when they want to get the divorce, because divorce is very delicate things. So before you marry with somebody, think like before about it. Do you want to be married with a prenuptial agreement?
Sim, de boa.
She says yes, she's married with a prenuptial agreement, not problem. What?
Okay, hold on. I want to pause because this kind of thing really surprised me. Classy Perspective with the 1999 super chat. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. But so that kind of answer, does that mean you talk to these people before you even interview them, so you get to know them a little bit? Does this woman have money? Because I'm trying to understand why like women when they say things like that, like, oh
yeah,
I want to
she's psychology.
She's a psychologist.
She's there ready for go work.
Oh, okay. So she has something going on. See, that's what I'm thinking. That women that jump and say, yeah, we should get we should have a prenup, then that means they probably have something going on and they want to protect it. James Wingate with the $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. He says, oh, my favorite sexy Brazil is going a show. I have to catch replay. Got to work early in the morning. I need to look at the last few streams to catch up. Yes, sir. Get on the site, watch the streams, like them, comment, all of that good stuff. But we definitely appreciate your support. Anata, you appreciate the support?
Yes. Thank you, guys. Many thanks. It's helped a lot.
Yes. Classy Perspective. James, thank you. So let's get back to the video. That's what I wanted to know, but I'm going to have more questions for you later, because watching this, I was a little bit thrown back a few times with these interviews, but let's get back to it.
Does a woman deserve after 10 years with relationship?
Sim, merecem não ter dificuldades, necessidades, principalmente se ela trabalhou junto para construir, merece ter uma vida possível, né, confortável.
She say if the woman working together, they building all together, yes, she's deserve receive something when they break up the relationship. Do you believe in friendship after divorce?
Yes.
Yes.
Entendeu, né?
Yes. She say yes, she's agree with that. Do you prefer to get married or live together?
Isso depende um pouco do relacionamento, né? Da configuração do relacionamento, deste encontro em si.
She say it depends the relationship. When they get meeting, where the things it happens with the time, how it's going, then they see if they live together or they get married. Do you start married? Consider what happens if you get divorced?
Não pensaria.
No?
Não.
No, she says she don't think about divorce when she's before or have plans to get married. She don't think how it's going to be if she get divorced. Okay, guys, thank you. Hey guys, now I'm here with Leo. Let me ask him what is the reason to get divorced.
Uma das razões, infidelidade.
He said to being faithful. That's one of the reasons he's get divorced. What do you think about divorce?
Acho bom, dependendo das condições que foi tida para ambos os lados. Acho bom.
Yeah, he said the divorce is good, but need to see the both sides of situation. Do you want to be married with prenuptial agreement?
Sim, depende também, assim, né? Acho que sim, sim.
Yes, he say yes. He's married with compromise prenuptial agreement. What those?
What's up, Renata? What happened? Say the word, please. Say the word.
Prenuptial agreement.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's taking years for I learn, but sometimes it's just come, some white part in my head, and I can't say it. My God, I have one moment there. Oh, I got hard.
Oh no, there was a few moments, but I edited them out. But I had to show that you struggled with the word. Yeah, that's why I put the questions in text, guys, because sometimes Hanata, when she's out there live, she's trying to remember how to pronounce some of these words, and she only recently started reading English, so it can be a little bit difficult for her. So, but yeah, it's cute though. I want to thank James for another $2 super chat. He just wanted to send a message saying that sorry, his spell check was messing up his message. Not massage, but good night, sir. Have a good one. Thank you again. Let's get back to the video.
A woman deserve after 10 years relationship.
Com certeza. Porque o homem não conquista nada sozinho, né? Dependente da mulher que tá do lado dele, com certeza.
He say he's agreed. The women deserve something after 10 years inside in a relationship. The women deserve something. Do you believe in a relationship after divorce?
Com certeza.
He say yes.
You like marijuana? Yes, yes.
No.
Okay, this guy was really high, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, I could.
Yes.
He's like, oh, like,
He's saying no, but I can see in his
yeah.
eyes.
He looks that because that was out of left field. That question.
No. Oh boy. Do you prefer get married or live together?
Para mim dá no mesmo.
He said both are the same for him. It's not different. Do you start marriage? Consider what happens if you get divorced.
Não. Não, sim. Não, sim, que a gente tem que estar preparado porque vai vir, mas tipo assim, se a pessoa for começar algum relacionamento pensando em terminar, é melhor não começar.
Yeah.
Acho que é quase a minha atual realidade.
Yes, he say it's coming in his head, when he's going to marry, think about the divorce in the end, but he say that's what people not should do. That's what people not supposed to be do. Think about the divorce when you're going to marry. Obrigada, hein? Foi muito bom.
You like marijuana, like.
No. Now I'm here with Camila.
Yeah, that guy was definitely on something. Yeah, I bit surprised with some of the answers, but okay, let's keep going. Ed Babine was asking, does the Portuguese language have French in it? I feel like I can understand a bit before Renata does the translation. I think Portuguese and Spanish share, because Latin is the base language, right? Between all these languages. So
Yeah, some things it's the same.
yeah. Okay, let's continue.
What is good reason to get divorced?
Traição, bater, desrespeito.
Yeah, she say being faithful, not respect, punch. What do you think about divorce?
Depende da situação. Eu acho justo quando não tem mais respeito, quando tem traição. Tudo que eu falei na pergunta anterior, eu acho que seria justo. Ninguém é obrigado a ficar casado com ninguém.
Yeah, she say the divorce, she's agree with divorce because nobody have to be obligation to live together with somebody if they not want. Do you want to be married with a prenuptial agreement?
Sim, acho que ninguém tem que levar nada de ninguém, cada um tem que batalhar pelo seu, eu batalho pelo meu, então eu acho que eu não gostaria que o cara levasse minhas coisas, ainda mais se ele fizesse alguma coisa que eu não gosto, aí ele levar metade das minhas coisas, não ia gostar.
Yes.
Ao contrário.
She say not doesn't matter how she's going to get married, but if she need to sign the prenuptial agreement paper to get married, she say it's fine because she say nobody need to depend to nobody. What is her, it's her. With him, it's him. She's agree with that. What does a woman deserve break up after 10 years of relationship?
Depende, eu acho que cada um tem que cuidar das suas coisas, cada um tem que ter o teu, pra ninguém sair dependendo de ninguém. Mas assim, tá dependendo do cara. O cara tá vacilando, tá enchendo o saco. Eu acho que depende da situação. Acho que ficou em casa pra cuidar dos filhos ou alguma coisa assim. Acho que merece sim.
Filho,
Acho que merece sim.
Yeah, she say the women deserve, especially if they have a kid together, then the women deserve. She say in the beginning, nobody need to depend nobody, but it's the kids that's involved in this situation. Yes, the women deserve to get something after 10 years in a relationship. Do you believe in friendship after divorce? Você acredita que existe uma amizade depois do divórcio?
Acredito que pode existir. Acredito sim. Não deu certo casado, mas pode dar certo na amizade. Tem pessoas que são ótimas na amizade, tem pessoas que são horríveis no casamento. Depende muito isso.
Yeah, she say it depends, but she's believe she think it's possible be friends after the divorce. Some people they get better after divorce. They not good when they married, but when they get to divorce, then they are really good friends. Do you prefer get to married or live together?
Morar junto. Eu prefiro morar junto.
She prefer live together.
Depende, se eu tiver alguma coisa, um patrimônio bem valor no meu, eu pretendo me casar na comunhão parcial de bens. Porque se morar junto já é comunhão, como se fala, junto, né? Então eu não quero. Quero
Como assim?
separação total de bens.
Se fosse pra casar,
Porque assim, morar junto, você ficar morando muito junto, é comunhão parcial. Então eu vou ter que dividir com o cara mesmo não me casando. Então assim, se eu tiver que morar junto, eu prefiro casar na comunhão parcial, que aí cada um sai com a sua coisa, entendeu?
yeah, she say she's prefer live together because if she have to get married, she need to marry with this prenuptial agreement. She only married if she's doing the prenuptial agreement.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes. There, what she means is
No.
if she's living together.
I know what she means, but my question is this: what does she do? What does she do for a living? Does she work in a pizza place? Is that what I saw on that shirt?
She's garçon. She's working in a bar.
See, now the reason I asked you before what the other woman did, because I figured she wants a prenuptial agreement. That means she has money, right? And you verified that. You said that she was a psychologist. This girl works as a waitress.
Yes.
In the pizza place.
Yeah, but she's have the same view.
I know. So somebody that she's not even she's not making. She doesn't. Well, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't assume, but I would think, okay, she doesn't
She
have
says
money and
she's
she looks
all.
young.
She says she's always working. She have her own thing. She's not depend, with men before. So she says she always have take care of herself without depending of men. So she say for her to live together, she's prefer. But the problem to live together, they get the same situation when you get married. After 3 years in Brazil, you live with somebody. Then when the woman's jump out, she's deserved for the court. The
Yeah,
woman
like
must have
common law
something.
marriage. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So she say, so in this case, it's better to her get married with prenuptial agreement than everything it's split. What her things, the house and her things, what she have, it's her own. You understand? She don't need to split nothing with the guy.
That's interesting, man. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think now most of the guys here, I'm assuming, are from the United States. I know there's some people from other places, but I would guess the vast majority of women, if they were interviewed here, would be like, "No, I'm not getting a prenup. That if he loves me, blah blah blah, and we're not trying to get divorced." So it seems like the women in Brazil have a bit different attitude. So maybe this is me. This is what I'm seeing. Um, yeah. Here's a comment from Fabian Scott. He says most women in the United States would consider it an insult if you ask them to sign a prenup agreement. Yeah, I agree with that. And I've seen some things on YouTube. I remember seeing this video where this basketball player was getting married. He asked the woman to sign a prenup, and she stalled and stalled and stalled until the wedding day. He brought the prenup contract with him to the wedding, to the church, and said, "Here, you need to sign it." And she refused. He said, "We're not getting married." And he left. And then she was like, "Oh no, no, I'm gonna," and he's like, "No." Um, so
Yes.
I think a lot of
Well,
women would be insulted by that. Like
women in Brazil, they are like more. I think
fair,
Hmm?
fair, equal, equality.
They are very how to call. Oh my god! But what is fair? It's fair. But they don't fight for. We don't want. I mean, we don't want to fight. If we need to leave after 10 years one relationship without nothing, and just back inside, live inside the mother's house, or if we working together by the TV, the construction, the house together. Most they just want to just leave, instead be happy than just be in fight or argument.
Hmm. Interesting. Robert Jackson says, other than providing a sense of stability for children, is marriage needed in these times? Women in Western countries are earning high income, feel independent, and just view men differently nowadays. Yeah, things are definitely changing. Is marriage needed? If you say no, it's not needed. You could say that, but look what's happening in society.
Yeah, because some women they think like, oh, you give up, you just open your hands, you don't care, you just prefer to live without nothing, you know. But other women just come there and they get it. What you not have courage to do, other women go there after you and they do it. They take 50% all he thinks.
Yeah,
That's what some women they think about it. And when we talk each other's, oh, you don't care about he things. You're not like material person. Consider the things. But other women go there and just have everything what you're supposed to be have.
yeah. I guess it comes down to the individual,
And
but
some women they say even more. and you have the kids with them. The other woman, they even don't have kids, but the other woman not doing the same as you did, like live without nothing.
Back to what Robert was saying. Is marriage really needed in these times? And I was saying that technically maybe not, but if you look at what's going on in society, like we're breaking down. It's not. It's we're not. We're heading in a weird place where, like, look outside the door. Look what's happening, and I think a lot of it has to do with family and how kids are raised these days. Uh, it's a mess. It's getting messier. So maybe we have to look at what's. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but is marriage needed? Maybe technically not, because of equality these days, and because everybody has the ability to kind of work and make money and not be in a bad situation. But then kids are not getting the attention that they used to when you had a family raising them. So maybe we have to figure out some other kind of structure for family in the future. I don't know. I don't know what has to happen. But let's continue with the video. Here we go.
Then when it's her, with it's his. But if she's living together, then she's prefer live together, but also need to separate things. She don't want this be involved. Do you start a marriage, consider what happens if you get divorced?
Sim, já me passou várias vezes, porque a gente nunca sabe do futuro, né? A gente nunca sabe o que pode acontecer, a gente não sabe da cabeça de ninguém, então a pessoa pode chegar e mudar do nada. Então sempre a pessoa pensar no futuro, o que eu vou fazer, o que vai acontecer.
Yeah, she says it's many times happens to her. When she get in a relationship, she's always thinking what happens if they get break up, if they separate, if they divorce. Obrigada, hein? Muito obrigada, guys. Hey, guys, now.
Okay. Let's hold on for a second. JB says, honestly, I really don't see any value in marriage. Honestly, Brazil may change my mind. Why would Brazil change your mind? What are you going to see in Brazil that's going to change your mind? Other people that are married that are happy? I'm going to scrub through the video a little bit, so because we're not going to play everything, right? I'll just play like one or two more interviews, and then if people want to see all the rest of them, I'll play one more. If people want to see the rest of them, they can go. I'll post it like maybe tomorrow or the day after. I just have to do a couple little corrections on it, and then we'll get going. All right. Trey Poppy says, the legal contract of marriage isn't needed, but the spiritual bond that unites the family is. JB says, honestly, you can get everything from a woman without marriage. No comment, Renata? Nothing? Here's another one from Beach Material. He says at JB, once you leave the US, fam, your mind will free up and change. In the US, I don't see the value either, but trust me, once you get on the plane and travel, your mindset changes. Okay. All right, let's continue the video. We'll play the last interview, and then we'll get to some of your questions.
For the guy not like her experience, she say, but it's nothing passing her head. Okay, obrigada. Thank you, guys. Now I'm here with Brenda. What is a good reason to get divorced?
A mãe dele não ia com a minha cara. E ele era muito próximo da mãe dele, a gente acabou terminando.
So one of the reasons for her to get divorced, it's his mom. When the mom for the guy not like her, and then they start to not agreement, they start to fight. That's one's the reason.
She's obviously speaking from some experience. She had some problem with somebody's mom. Jeez.
What do you think about divorce? O que você pensa a respeito do divórcio?
Ah, cara, tipo assim, eu acho uma coisa boa, né? Porque a pessoa não tá dando certo, vai ficar com a outra, ficar empurrando com a barriga, não tem como. É melhor separar e cada um pro seu canto.
She says she think divorce is a good idea because if you're not happy with the person, it's just better one going to one side, the other one going for the other side. Do you want to be married with a prenuptial agreement?
Sim, com certeza, a melhor coisa do mundo.
Yeah, she said that's the best thing in the world. She's agree with that. What does a woman deserve after 10 years with relationship?
Se tiver conquistado alguma coisa juntos, sim. Agora, tipo assim, a pessoa, não, cada um tem o seu, acho que não.
Yeah, she said the women only deserve if they build and the things together. If they construction, let's say the house together, then after 10 years they break up, yes, then the women deserve.
I don't know, guys. You tell me. It seems almost unbelievable that women think like this, because we wouldn't get that here, would we? Oh, a woman would deserve it if she helps to build something with the man, and then she's like, yeah, prenuptial, that's the best. And she works, she's a waitress at a pizza place. So it's really that sense of fairness that is blowing my mind. Like, yeah, I should only get what I deserve. We should have a prenup. Whatever you come with is yours. Whatever I come with is mine. You just would not see that here. Like, this is just blowing my mind. And this isn't some rich people that we're talking to. These are common people that, like, it's crazy. I don't know. Are you guys, is your minds as blown as mine? You tell me. Let's continue.
And they not building nothing together. It's she go one side, he's going on the side she's going without nothing. Do you believe in friendship after divorce?
Acredito, cara. Se tiver respeito, a amizade prevalece. Depois sim.
Yeah, she say if have the respect in a relation, after divorce she believe they possibly be friends. Do you prefer to get married or live together? Você prefere se casar ou morar junto?
Prefiro morar junto, né? Menos complicado, casado dá muito problema, depois mó negócio pra separar. Melhor morar junto só.
She prefer live together because to get married it's a little bit complicated, so it's better just put your things together and just leave it. Do you start married consider what happens if you get divorced?
Claro, a gente tem que pensar em todas as possibilidades, né? O que você vai perder depois. Ih, é um negócio meio complicado. Se você não pensar, você vai casar assim, vai se entregar de cabeça, depois dar ruim, tu fica na merda mesmo.
Yeah, she say yes before she get in a relation. She think about how it's going to be after if something is not work. Okay, guys, thank you.
Okay, all right, that's interesting. Okay. So anything you want to say, Hinata? Anything you want to say? If you guys have any questions, comments, now is the time to come through. Hinata, you want to deal with that?
Just a minute.
Mute and
Dog take
speak.
Madara's t-shirt. Wait, just a minute. I'm back.
Okay. Yeah. Man, don't leave. Okay, yeah, there's a few things here I want to read, but we got to wait for Hinata to come back. Fabian Scott says, it seems like Brazilian women value marriage more than their American counterpart. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm just surprised at the fairness. And yeah, it just seems like whenever I hear women here in America talk about marriage, it's always like they're trying to not take advantage, but they're trying to marry up, right? So they're just trying to get into a situation where they get something. It's not about the man, it's not about really love. I'm sure there's got to be feelings there, but it's more about what they can get. They're marrying in to get something. You know, that's what it seems like for the most part when I hear people here
and
talk about marriage.
and
But Brazil, it doesn't seem like that. Go ahead.
yes, that's what I say. It's depends of the situation, sometimes when the guy being faithful, then the woman, they just, I say in Brazil we have some women, same in the United States, they just want to take all, even the pants, the guy's pants.
Hmm. um Miss Renata, this is from Dominican Don Juan. She said that she would work so that the man doesn't leave her with nothing, but she is in favor of a prenup. Make it make sense. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, what she say is she's working for herself to build in her things, for not have nothing like in the all problem when they get separate. She have her own things.
Yeah. and
She
and
have
she's in favor of a prenup, so that makes sense. Like she thinks that she should have her own things, he should have his own things. They're together, but in a event they split, she's not going after him for something, he's not going after her for something. They can split amicably. And yeah, so that kind of makes sense to me. Huh. JB says, at Dominican, Don Juan, I'm definitely going to give Brazilian women a chance for sure. Um, Everything okay over there? Abraham says, how about giving women outside of the US, Canada, UK, and Western Europe a chance? Well, I think that's the whole movement that's going on right now with guys like Passport Bros and many other guys. They're going outside of these Western countries looking for wives, girlfriends, relationships, because they want women with a different mentality. Like already, what I'm hearing from Brazilian women in these interviews that we've done, I think they come across a lot better than American women from what I've seen, and that it's sad, but it's true. I don't know. Um, Desert Dog says, "Que linda, Renata." So
thank you.
David G says, "Are you sure the girls are being completely honest and not just saying what they think we want to hear?"
Well, some I think they honest, but some I think they just say because they just want to see they are open mind. But I think it's depends the situation. Of course, many women in Brazil they not just, if the guy in faithful go with other woman and that's the reason for they separate. Maybe when you back home, all your things it's broken. The TV, the furnitures, she's leave, she not take nothing, but everything inside it's completely mess.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Um, Fabian Scott says the American women value the wedding more than the marriage. Yeah, they want that fairy tale. They want to get that really expensive wedding. Does the rate of divorce fall when they marry foreign or somebody from another country? This is from Nomadic Rob. What do you think, Anata? Do you
Why?
think it's harder for marriages to work if they're with a foreigner than if they're with Brazilians together?
I don't understand.
If weddings break up all the time, right? Do you think wedding is more successful when a Brazilian person is married to a foreigner? Do you think there's more of a chance for them to divorce? Or do you think if they marry a Brazilian, they have a better chance to make it?
Yeah, from my view, it's a good chance to get married, because it's good also for the other circumstance. Like, it's good to you guys to get visa in Brazil. It's good for the women to get visa out from Brazil. But my advice, just wait for some years before you get married. I was married before in the United States, and when I get married there, the loyal, she
Lawyer.
talked to me. Yeah, she talked to me. I didn't know that, and she say, listen, in United States it's different from Brazil, because many women after divorce, they live without nothing. They depend with the government in the United States. And she told me it's not good. The governments, they don't want this anymore. That's what she said. So you need to put something in a contract when you get married. That's before I get married there. And I say, I don't understand why. And she say, you need to sign one contract when you get married here. Just say you want to receive a pension every month after divorce. You want to put that here? And I say no. And she say, so what you want to receive it if he's doing something wrong, or if you guys get divorced? You need to receive it something. You need to put something here, because that's a part for the government in the United States. The government don't want to take the responsibility for the woman's after divorce, you know. So because she say many women, they leave after divorce and some building there for the government, to they get a job, to they build in their life after divorce, because they don't have any place to go, something like that. That's what she's explained me. And I say, okay, I don't want to sign, I don't want to receive nothing, And she say, if you not sign the paper, you receive it, all he things 50% automatic. And I say, okay, so then I want to talk to him first. So then he say, don't worry, he's fixed everything. And I say, okay. Then he's put in a contract, like, if I married with him, everything what he's have in Brazil, it's mine. And let's say we are 1 year married, then I get, let's say, 20,000. Then we are 2 years married, then I get 40,000. Then we are married, more years married together, more I get it. You understand? That's what he's put in the contract. And if we get to divorce, everything what he's have in Brazil, it's mine. That's inside the paper. But of course, after we divorce, I say I don't want nothing. And that's what we do, because he's helped me a lot for many years. So I consider he's doing a lot when he's not supposed to be do, because I'm his wife. not something he's need to help or pay every month for. So I just decide not get nothing after divorce. But yes, so it's about, sit and talk, because in United States, what I see it's not only about the woman's decision. It's bad for some women's, even when they not deserve, they don't have nothing. And it's bad from one side. They live without nothing, don't have no place to go. It's bad.
Okay.
Also, it's bad, when the guy, he's building, he's working a lot and he's building the house, he's make all the money, and the woman just want to go there and get 50% or even more. That's even worse. That's bad. I think the woman is not should do that.
Yeah, it's tricky. But you still didn't answer the question though. The original question.
I not answer.
Yeah. If the information you gave is great, guys, we need to think about that. That sounds strange. Like if you were in America, you're not gonna get that answer from an American, definitely. But the rate of divorce, do when couples marry and the woman is Brazilian or the man is Brazilian and the wife is or the husband, when it's a different countries, do you think they'll break up more than the people that are like two Brazilians marrying each other? Do you think there's more of a chance for them not to have a divorce?
No, I think it's the same.
Okay. Okay. What did I miss here? Somebody asked about the statistics. If somebody could look that up. I tried to check it a little bit before I came on the live, but I couldn't really find anything. Well, there's information there, but I have to look through it to find what we're looking for, because it would tell you the age that people are getting divorced, like how long they've been together, what percentage of divorced people were from that's been married for less than 10 years and this and that, but it wasn't giving me, is it 50% of the people in Brazil divorce like America? Is the statistics close? I'm not sure. Ed Babine says divorce is probably increasing in Brazil. Yeah, if I think divorce is increasing everywhere in the world that is influenced by Western culture. I think some countries definitely they're not trying to hear about like divorce. Middle Eastern countries, some Asian places in Asia, but definitely countries that are becoming more Westernized, where there's that emphasis on equality and women are working more, and it's changing the dynamics of relationships around the world. Nomadic Rob says, I think women anywhere want the most favorable situation with a man. I think it's more about the law, what laws or protection both parties have under the law or lack thereof. Yeah, that's natural. People want to be in a more favorable position, and that's why women want to marry up or be in relationships where their partner is in a better situation than they are. What's that called again, guys? When women want to marry, I forget the name. It escapes me. The problem with marriage in the United States is that it looks like a business transaction. This is what Charles is saying. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Let me put. Sorry. Go ahead, Hinata. I'm
You
gonna
want
put
to
the
put the link?
link up. Yeah. If anybody wants to come in on a live, you are welcome. I'm going to put the link up for Hinata. What do you say about that, Hinata? Charles says the problem with marriage in the United States is that it looks more like a business transaction. It's not the love isn't there.
Yeah, that's what I hear, you know. I hear from, yeah, the woman's there, they want to get all for you guys.
But you know what I want to say? It wasn't until the last what 100 years that marriage became about love. Not even 100 years. Marriage wasn't about love before. Marriage was about business. It was transactional. It was like your family and my family get together, and we're gonna have a bigger business. We're gonna be in a
No, I think it's opposite.
no, 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 no. It's not. Like if you go way back from all these years, kings would marry the this prince would marry this princess from this country. It was business. They didn't know each other. Marriages were arranged by families. It wasn't about, oh, you found your love. It was arrangements between families to better their own positions. It was transactional.
What I know married for it before, it's about respect the family for the wife, you know, when the guys get married. If they not get married in a relation, then it's some consequence with the wife family, you
Yeah,
know?
but I'm just saying, like, marriages were arranged by families. It wasn't really two people that found each other. Like this goes way back hundreds of years.
Like my mom, she's not go out from the house her father if she's not married with my
No,
dad.
no, I'm talking 100 years. I'm saying recently it's become about love, but before it was about business. It was about people setting up. It was arrangements between families. Oh, you have a daughter this age. Oh, this is a respectful family. I'm going to marry off my daughter, or I'm going
Yeah,
to
for
marry my
me
son.
now, what is changed for me now, it's more married, it's more about business, about some interesting. It's correct.
I don't know. Say the rest of the sentence.
It's now married for me, it's see like have a fulfill people's, it's have a meaning, like a reason, you know?
Because we have that kind of freedom now. Before we didn't. Now we have the freedom. People are working. People have jobs. People are. It's a different world. But before it wasn't really like that. People had to. If you had daughters, you need to get rid of them. You need to get them married off, and families would have to give dowries. Like the father for the daughters would have to give money to the son's family. So it was business. It was transactional, and if you wanted to say have a business in this part of the world or this country, you would marry the families together so that there would be more of a vested interest to work together. And with royalty, kings and queens, people, heads of states, political, whether political, religious, all of these things where it was about arranged marriages between families. So that's how it used to be. Then it kind of changed into this love thing, and now this is where we are. Hypergamy, that's the name I was thinking. It's hypergamy. Women are they're into hypergamy. They want to marry up. They don't want to marry somebody on their level or below. They want somebody better than them. That's natural. And Las Vegas Sports Talk says it's called leveling up. Yes, level up, level up. Ed Babine says peasant for sure wasn't marrying into a rich family. Yeah, back in the day, you know, you couldn't do that. It was about the families. Dominican Don one says that came from Cinderella and Walt Disney. Yeah, it became really romantic, right?
Yeah.
Desert Dog says a similar situation with my ex-wife that I met in Cuba. Met her in 1997 and married in 2000. Still the best decision marrying in Cuba. Mindset is different from most parts. Okay. Dominican Don Juan's trying to get in here. Says your device isn't connected. Try it again. And I'll tell you might have a guest. Ed Babine says we need to give goats to have her. Yeah, the families would have to give something for the to get rid of their daughters. To get rid of their daughters. They did. They did. That's why in some countries, when a family has a daughter, it's like in China and stuff, they want sons. It's really a strange thing. There's more value in having a boy child than a girl child. I know in Colombia you don't have to report your marriage to your home country. I wonder what countries have favorable laws to a foreigner. That's from Nomadic Rob. I don't know. Let me pull in Dominican Don Juan. He is in the green room. Let's welcome Dominican Don Juan. How
I
you
don't think
doing,
you
sir?
guys hear me.
Welcome back. Yes, we can hear you.
Hold on for 1 second, man. I'm trying to do the thing right, but I don't think I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear that music though. Can you turn that down? Yeah, I don't want to get copyright strike. You gotta turn the music down, man. Oh, deal with that. Mute it. Mute yourself. Deal with it, and just let me know when you want to come back in. All right.
Just the music a little bit low, but
No, not a
then
little bit. He's got to turn
the
it up.
music is good. No need to
No,
turn it
no, no. We're gonna get a copyright strike.
off. Okay.
Can you guys hear?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
But I don't know. I never seem to can get this right, but I
You got to
can't
turn the
hear you
music
guys.
off though, man. We can't have that.
You hear music?
Yeah, is that not from you?
Okay, hold on for a second. Let me mute myself.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, how do I sound now? I sound
Okay.
better.
Almost not here.
For some reason or another, I cannot hear you guys. And I have headphones. I went out and actually got headphones, like they're hooked to my jack on my computer.
Okay. We just can't have music playing in the background because of copyright problems.
So I'll try this one more time. I'll disconnect and I'll come back in because I can.
Okay, cool.
You guys can hear me, but say something, Dennis.
Yeah, good to go.
Yeah, so I still can't hear you. So I'm not sure why.
All right.
I'm just not playing your voice. So I'll leave out and I'll try to come back in and see what we can do there.
All right, cool. We'll see you in a second. Backpack Mo says exactly. Back in the day, you had to give cattle or land, army, something. Yeah, money, protection, land, all of that stuff. That's what marriage was about. Business, transaction. David G said Dennis is correct. The new concept of a fairy tale marriage was created to get people to spend more on weddings, honeymoons, wedding rings, etc. Yeah, things have just changed. We have so much freedoms now. People have the freedom to be able to fall in love. That was a foreign concept back in the day. If you fell in love and you wanted to run off with somebody could easily be getting killed. Maybe I shouldn't say that word. I don't want to get demonetized. But somebody could, they'll go, you disrespect the family or you do those things and it wasn't good. Like they really had rules set up for all that kind of stuff. Now we have these freedoms to be able to do all this stuff. You have the freedom to fall in love.
Dennis.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, go ahead. Desert Dog, thanks for the chat. Need to find out how to send money to support the channel. Bam. Right there. PayPal, Cash App. That's the best way. You can do the super chat, but we definitely benefit more when you do a Cash App or PayPal. And your support is much appreciated. This is what we used to send Hinata out there on the streets, talking to the people. So there you go. What? Let's get back to some more questions. Yeah, if you guys have any more questions, great. I think the world is changing. Whether we need marriage still, I mean, was the world really great before? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe I was thinking about it earlier. Maybe families have to be more involved in the raising of children, like grandparents, or extended family, trying to keep everybody around to help raise kids, uh, especially with all the things going on with families just not, or marriages not staying together. At least if families are around, I think in a lot of Latin in the Latin culture, it's good with that. You know, in Latin homes, or just they have that bigger circle of family support, where in Western culture you have the mother, father, and then the kids. You don't really see as much of that family bond as other cultures. And I think that family being involved in the raising of kids, it gives a better support system and a better chance for the kids doing well. Uh, Christian G says America is a very litigious country. Lawyers get paid more if they win more for their clients or draw out the process as long as possible. Yes, America is the land of lawsuits. People are always just suing each other. So, and who benefits the most from all of that stuff? Often it's the lawyers. So you got to be careful. What's up, Hanata? Were you saying something before?
No, he's back now.
I don't know where Don Juan is. Dominican Don Juan. I guess he's still trying to fix his. I see you, Ed Babine. Yes, Las Vegas sports talk. Those days are long gone. Yeah. Who knows what the answer is? But it's good that we have this kind of dialogue so you can think about it.
Yeah, what's the rest of the questions? We stop where? What do you think about divorce? Then the next one.
Do you want to be married with a prenuptial agreement?
Yes.
Well, do you want to be married with a prenuptial agreement? Guys in the room, would that be something that you would want to go into a marriage talking about? Abraham is in the house. Let's bring him in. Let's welcome Abraham. What's up, man?
Obrigado.
What's up,
Thank
brother?
you.
How you doing?
Hey,
man?
what's going on? Yeah, that's me on the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just catching up. And I wanted to add something, like for those that worry about marriage and stuff, you can divorce internationally as well. And one of the best places to get divorced in is actually the Dominican Republic. Reason being is because if you don't really feel secure, I personally wouldn't do that. But if you really don't feel secure about the woman that you're marrying, take on a trip to the Dominican Republic. You can divorce her there without her even knowing. You get a divorce paper, and if she decides she wants to pull some, or we've already been divorced for 10, here you go, no prenup needed, nothing like that. I mean, personally, I wouldn't do that. But, for those that want to go that route, sure. There's consequences to it, of course, because karma does come back to you.
Wait,
But
wait. Are you saying you kind of chipped out a little bit there? Are you saying that you could be married in another country, then go to Dominican to get a divorce? Or are you
yep.
saying if you marry somebody in Dominican?
No, you can marry someone else. You can marry someone in another country, and you can divorce them in the Dominican Republic, and that divorce decree is valid pretty much anywhere in the world. That's one of the few countries that you can actually do that.
Really? That sounds a little bit
Yeah, I
strange.
mean, you can ask. I'm not even gonna mention his name because but if a lawyer worth their weight in salt will tell you that. They'll go ahead and advise you that. I mean, do I agree with that? No. But if you have a lot of assets and a lot of wealth to protect, and you don't want to go the prenuptial route, guess what? You can go that route too, and it'll actually stand in an American court. And in an American court or European court, the divorce will stand. And if you didn't
I
sign a
want to see
prenuptial,
more about that because I know I'm not even talking about marriage, but contracts. When you do a contract in a state, you have to honor the contract per the state's rules and laws. So to go outside that
correct,
to deal with it, it doesn't
correct.
seem.
But on an international level, a divorce is a divorce. You can get married in the United States and divorce in Saudi Arabia, and a divorce will still hold. It'll still be acknowledged. If you want to separate from a person, you can separate from a person. However, it has to be, for the most part, it does have to be with their knowledge. One of the few countries that actually doesn't require that person's knowledge, and one of the most infamous ones, is the Dominican Republic. How do I know this? Because I have an uncle who's a lawyer over there. I'm from the Dominican Republic. So, I mean, as far as the Dominican laws are concerned in terms of marriage, I mean, I know about it because my uncle talks to me about it. And he tells
But
me that one of the best places to get married and divorced is the Dominican Republic. So,
even the breaking of a contract is a contract within itself. You can't.
okay,
You
a
can't.
breach of there's no, when it comes to marriage, it's not really unless you put things down that you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna give her or him ABCXYZ 1 2 3. If you divorce, it's not considered a breach of contract. It just
No,
means
I'm
that
not
you
saying.
haven't.
I'm not saying a breach. I'm saying breaking the contract. You're making a
Well, that's
contract
what a
to
breach
break
of
it.
contract is, sir. It's breaching. That's what a breach of contract is, breaking it. When you breach your contract, you're breaking your contract.
Well, when a breach is when somebody does something that you agreed to something, and somebody does something to
Right.
that.
That's breaking the contract. That's
But you
breaking the contract.
what
When
you're
you go
saying is
outside of the perimeters of the contract, you're breaking the contract. That's a breach of contract. You can sue someone for that. I'm just saying.
no, but there's there's breaching a contract, and there's making a new an amendment. You can go and say, okay, we're changing the contract. We don't want to be married anymore. You're not breaching the contract. You're both agreeing to break the contract. Breach the
Right. But in the
contract.
what I'm
Somebody
saying is
going
that
to
in the
Dominican
Dominican Republic,
without their
that's
wife,
not needed.
and it's somebody going to Dominican without their wife and having a
No,
divorce.
no,
That
no, 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 no. What I'm saying is that no, but you can't do that in the Dominican Republic. You can
I,
divorce your spouse. You can divorce your spouse without them having knowledge of it. That's a fact.
I okay. If you say so, I that sounds really, really, really
Yeah, I
shady.
know, I know, I know. It sounds real shady, but guess what? I mean, that was actually enacted in at the very beginning of the era of Trujillo, and that hasn't been removed ever since. Even when after Trujillo was assassinated, they didn't remove that law. That was one of the laws that was one of the first laws that he enacted. Reason
Okay,
being is because reason being is, remember, Trujillo being a dictator, he was also a womanizer. So he was marrying women left and right. So I mean,
I,
he
I'm gonna bring in somebody because there's somebody who has a counterpoint here.
yeah, sure.
Um, Christian G says this is not actually true because only a few states in the United States, such as Maryland and New York, recognize Dominican divorces as valid. So maybe something has changed. I mean, it sounds a little bit weird to me, but I don't know. I would have to hear from a lawyer because that even just breaking having a divorce, with one person's knowledge, that just sounds like a lawsuit. That just sounds like more lawsuits coming, man.
Brother, ain't nobody gotta abide by. But I mean, as long as you have your treaties and agreements, remember these are governments talking to each other. And as far as the United States is concerned, I mean, Maryland and New York aren't the only states that actually accept the Dominican divorce. Maybe from your experience, Mr. Christian G, maybe from your experience, but I have an uncle who's an international lawyer, and he's licensed between the United States, the Dominican Republic, Honduras, Belize, and Colombia in South America. And this is what he told me about the marriage laws. He's like the best place for him in terms of a man having an advantage in terms of a marriage. The best place to get married is the Dominican Republic. But I mean, that's not what the topic of tonight is for. I'm just saying, like, for those that have this little paranoid idea or whatever, like, oh my God, my wife is gonna leave me or whatever. If you want to go the route, yeah, sure. I mean, there's gonna be repercussions and consequences with your karma. I wouldn't do someone dirty like that. I mean, personally, I may sound like a punk saying this, but I would rather it be that the woman make that move. Because if you look at statistics, women are the ones that push divorce. It's not so much men. Let that woman make the decision of, oh, I want to divorce my man or what have you. Because you know what? That karma is gonna go to her. Because if you're willing to stay there and work out the marriage, and she just simply doesn't want to, I mean, that right there is gonna go ahead and paint the whole scenario in terms of where her mind is at. Why stress yourself about it? I mean, I don't like to stress. I might look, if a woman wants to leave me, yeah, sure. I mean, am I gonna have a prenuptial agreement? Absolutely. Because I'm in the US. Of course I'm gonna have a prenuptial agreement. But anywhere outside of the US, you don't necessarily have to have a prenuptial agreement. Because there are countries that have laws that actually that will make that are actually more fair than the United States. Like, for example, in Europe, look at what's going on with Hakimi right now, with him and his wife. He put it, even though he put all the things in his mom's name, and technically his wife makes more money than him. But if you look at it, if he didn't have anything and she had it all, and she wanted to divorce him, guess what? She would still have to pay the alimony anyway. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Christian G says again. Additionally, you need to be aware that in the United States Supreme Court has ruled that all unilateral foreign divorces, where only one party signs the paperwork, are invalid.
Sir, are you pulling this up from Google? I mean, from Google, because that's not true. That is not true, sir. Because not in all countries do you need to have it could be just one party. It could be abandonment of marriage. Just like here in the United States, with abandonment of marriage. With abandonment of marriage, there is a process, but you don't need to have her signature for the divorce. As long as you guys are not together and there's no communication and you quote unquote cannot find her, guess what? As long you can actually have that marriage terminated. Under abandonment of marriage.
That is something that takes time. I know with those kind of situations that you're talking about, you have to post something in a newspaper from where they like. There's a whole bunch of things that you have to do to do it. But that's a little bit different than what you, because the way you're saying it, it's like, oh, I'm just going to go to Dominican, sign something, and we're done. He says, I'm a lawyer in California. Bring my divorce,
and that's great. Well, I'm gonna go, and that's great for him. But I'm gonna go with my uncle who's been practicing for like over 25 years, dude. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go with someone who has more experience than you, and he's an international lawyer. So I'm gonna go with my uncle on that one, because trust me, he's done divorces, and he's done divorces. Matter of fact, he's done divorces in California, coming from the Dominican Republic. How he pulls that off, I have no clue, but he's the expert, because he's my family lawyer, bro. I'm gonna go with him. I'm sorry, no disrespect, Christian, because you probably you probably do your thing as a lawyer in the States, but I'm gonna go with my uncle on that one.
Sorry, hold on. I'm just gonna bring in Dominican because he's sitting there waiting. He's been waiting for a second. I'm gonna bring him in, but you can continue after Renata says what she needs to say.
Yeah, sure.
Dominican, Don Juan, he's back.
I just want to understand.
I'm back, man. Thank you.
I understand.
I can hear you guys now.
Okay, go ahead, Renata.
I understand what you guys talk about. I just want to understand. I don't know how to Gustavo. I know
Yeah,
the
Gustavo.
story. Yeah, you talk about your experience.
No, not mine. I'm talking about my uncle. He's the lawyer. I'm not. I'm not a lawyer, dude. I'm just an engineer.
Oh, okay. I just thinking, you talk about your experience, then that's maybe something you 100% sure what you talk about. It's something like that. But if you want, it's your uncle have done these things there before. He's have the all the experience. He's doing these things before, right? That's what you.
Right,
Oh, okay. But not you. That's what I try to understand.
right. And I've discussed that with him before because I've been married as well, and I've, of course, during the process of my divorce, when I was
Yes.
getting divorced here in the United States, he actually represented me. So he was like, "Look, you know what? If you want to go through the Dominican Republic route, which is a lot easier, we can do it in that way." And I'm like, "Well, no. You know what? Because I'd rather just deal me personally. I would rather just for her to be aware and acknowledge that we're getting a divorce. And as far as I'm like, she put it in her just due and put up with me. You know what I mean? Because I was in the military and I was consistently away. So I can understand why she wanted a divorce and what have you. All right, cool. No
Yeah.
problem. Let me give you that's just me though. There are some men that won't do that.
So
Me, on the other hand, I'm just
you
like,
And
guys came to an
how
agreement.
sorry, Dennis, but let me ask you one more thing. How long time you talk about these things with your lawyer, with your
with my
uncle?
uncle.
How long
Oh,
time?
this
Because
was back
maybe,
in
it's changed, the rules, it's changed. Maybe it's not the same. So that's why I asking.
I mean, I would
this is
just say that I would say that in regards to this subject for any person listening, you just before you make that move, depending on wherever you live, you need to go and consult with an actual lawyer that is in the state that you reside that's going to represent you, and then let that person vet out whether that information is actually correct or not before you run off to the DR and off the strength of
but
somebody's
he's
word.
licensed here in the
Yeah,
States. He
I
can
hear what you're
practice in
saying,
the
but I
Dominican
think
Republic.
what Miss Renetta is trying to get at is that you're leaning on the strength of something that your uncle is saying, and that's great for you in his relationship. But what we're saying is that if we're going to give someone advice in that area, if me personally, I wouldn't necessarily go off the strength of what you heard from your uncle and what he said. Um, to use that as a guiding principle for something as serious as a divorce in my personal life, what I would say is that I would go to a lawyer in the state that I represent, where I plan on getting married, and I'm sorry, getting divorced. And if I wanted to do that, I would let them, because I'm not a lawyer, I would let them vet out whether or not that is actually the case and whether or not that's actually going to be um, um, is that actually going to be something that's going to be a workable situation for my case? That's what she's arguing, that you don't actually have any actual experience doing that, like you've never done it yourself. And this is not, I'm not attacking you personally, I'm just making a statement. And that you're hearing this from your uncle, and all of that may be valid, but I'm just saying that any other person that wants to go that route, I would suggest them talking to their own attorney in their state and vetting out whether that information is actually going to work for them in their scenario.
Can I ask this? What would be the benefit of going to DR? Is it because it's cheaper to do it?
Well, I think
No,
the
the
benefit
law.
was supposed to be that you could do it without their consent, right? Like you could. So if you
No, no, but that's one of the things he said. That's not what he started with. He was just saying it's easier to get a divorce in Dominican. Did you mean that it's easier because you can just do it as one party without the next party, or you just mean it's just easier to kind of get through it?
Correct. You can do it. You can do it without the consent of the other party in the Dominican Republic. I mean, do I find that to be fair? No, obviously not. I think both parties should be aware if there's a divorce going on. But I mean, it is what it
I just
is. So
if you say like I just can't see the United States holding up a contract, even state to state. It's some contracts can't be held up in another state if you did the contract in this state. So I can't see another country.
well, I think what he's saying is, so like as far as I'm concerned, what he's saying is not foreign, right? Like at least to me, I've heard that in many occasions, where people, that people say that, hey, if you wanted to file divorce one way without your spouse knowing, you can actually go to the Dominican Republic, file for divorce without the other spouse knowing. I mean, without informing them that that's actually occurring. So I don't think in my world that's not necessarily news. I just don't
I
know. I don't know the nuances to it.
I asked him about if he's have the experience because I hear about that before, but I not
Yeah.
believe what
Hmm.
I hear.
Yeah.
I hear what he say is truth before,
Hmm.
but I'm not believed. At least if I get somebody who's, like if you get the experience and you can tell me, yes, it is, yeah,
Well,
you
I
have.
would argue that there's probably some truth to it, but there's probably nuances that we don't know, right? Like I said before, it might not necessarily be so black and white, which is what I think Dennis was trying to allude to. So, again, so you heard it, I've heard it. So I would imagine that there's some truth there. But I would just say that, if anybody was thinking about doing that, um, that I would at least, before blindly going off to do that, I would at least consult with my own attorney and let that person, let them vet out whether or not that is a viable route for me.
Las Vegas Sports Talk says, how long does it take? What's the time frame for that, Gustavo?
As far as the time, I've never done a divorce, so I couldn't tell you what the time frame was. I didn't opt for that because I got married in the States, so I wanted to keep everything stateside, especially being in the military at that time.
Oh,
So, I mean, as far as the process, I don't know. I would have to, I'd have to put my uncle's information so y'all can call him
No,
or
so no,
email him.
but so I think what, like in my opinion, like just like for
And
example,
I think it has to do with circumstances as well too.
yeah,
I'm
because
just saying, I'm only speaking from my experience. It's
yeah,
circumstantial. Everything is
hmm,
circumstantial. It can't be just like it applies to
yeah,
everyone and that's it. It depends
yeah.
on the circumstances.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Because I was going to say, for like you could, like I work in the STEM field, so a lot of times what happens is people will go, they might live in another country, and they might get a degree from a particular university, right? And
Right,
they come here, and then our system is saying, well, we don't recognize that. You got to
right,
essentially go and get your education all over again.
mm-hmm.
So we don't know. I think that what we're arguing that might be true, but it may vary from state to state, right? The state says, well, that might be true over here, but when you come over here to file for divorce, we don't recognize that. And there's nothing that you can do to enforce that, right? Dominican Republic certainly can't enforce it. So you have a document from them that's saying that that sure you were divorced by their government standards in their country, but when you come here, the state that you're in is there's no legal precedence that where that they would have to honor that. That's what you would have to find out from your attorney.
Yeah, that's interesting. But we here's the disclaimer: we can't verify this information, so
Yeah,
Well, the
exactly.
thing is,
caution.
the things, the times it's passed, the things it's changed. Sometimes it's not the same anymore. Like in Brazil, and let's say 15 years ago, 17 years ago, to get visa, it's a lot of papers of documents, a
Hmm.
bunch to get visa, let's say to go in United States. Now
Hmm.
people they just pay for the visa and 10 days after they make the appointment, it's lying there. Many people's before need to get appointment. You've been there, let's say, with three people's waiting, sitting in one room. Now it's a bunch people's every day, like 10, 20 people's in same time standing in line, wait for the visa if they get it or not. So what I say, it's the things is change with the time. So we don't know if something is changed. Yes, so
Mm.
So, Mr. Renell, let me ask you a question. In Brazil, um, what's the annulment process like? What's the time period? So, if I marry a young lady there, and 3 days later I decide I made the worst mistake in my life, um, is there a process there to get? We call that annulment in the United States, where it's essentially like you didn't get married. Does Brazil have something like that? I don't know. I
um,
don't know if I represented that correctly, Dennis. You might
Okay,
need to clean it up a little bit.
yeah. So here you
if
have
he get married,
And
in
he didn't
Brazil.
really want it. He didn't. He, like some people they go to Vegas, they get drunk, they go get married, and they
Mm-hmm.
realize, oh wait,
Okay.
we don't want to be married, and then they go get an annulment. That means the judge basically says you didn't really get married. Like,
Well, that's not happens in Brazil because in Brazil it's a get long time to get married. It's a
oh,
lot of document to put for work.
What do you mean?
Oh, you need to do translate in your document to get married in Brazil. Your document have to be translated by sign stamp.
You mean if you marry a foreigner or if you marry Brazilian to Brazilian?
A foreigner.
Oh, okay. So I can't come in to Brazil tomorrow and ask some woman to marry me, and we can go to church and get married, and it's official. It's not that easy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
you
Okay.
have paperwork to do.
Oh. And how long does that process take?
The church normally it's even more long than the officially in a cartório.
I mean, like, give me a time frame. Is it like 6 months, 3 months, a year?
Depends how the paper is going to work, how the document. You need to do. If you want to be fast, you just need to go into look like juramentate. I don't know how to call in English. They, doing the translate in your document, and they look for the document. Normally, it's take like, I don't know. I never married in Brazil before, only in the United States. But
So this is very interesting.
that
So,
long. I see people they get married officially in a cartório after 3 months. Maybe that's what they take the time.
but it sounds like you're saying you got to do all the paperwork first before you get
Yeah.
married.
Yeah,
Yes,
you do.
you need to bring the
everybody even
document.
knows.
You need to bring the document.
Like how it works here. I've been married once, so
That's interesting. Okay.
so how it works here in Florida, you have to go into the place. You
Uh-huh.
basically fill out the information, sign the contract, and you have to wait. They give you a 3-day waiting period. Doesn't matter.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
But basically after those 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
you go back in and you sign the paper. It's like a 3-day to think about it. To
Oh,
make
okay.
sure that's what you want. Then
Oh,
you
that's
go
not
back in and
okay.
you sign the paper and you're married.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can go to the church and do all the
So it's just ceremonial after that point, is what you
it's
said.
ceremonial.
That's
So once you
interesting. Okay.
sign the marriage license, you're married. You don't have to do anything after that.
Oh, okay.
But you have to. It gives you a 3-day
Also,
period. And then you're married.
it's possible pay for they come in a church and then you sign in a church.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, here it's just ceremonial. Once you go in and sign the contract and you wait the waiting period, the 3-day waiting period, then
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Then you're that's it. You're married. So
Okay. All right. That's interesting.
but yeah, you have to do the paperwork first because you can go to any church. Well, you can't go to any church, but if you go to a church and just get married,
Mm-hmm.
the government has to recognize it. You have to register. So
Yeah,
until
it depends on
you do that,
the
you're not
state, because
legally married.
sometimes in the church they'll have the certificate between you and the person already drawn up, and you just sign it.
Yeah, that's Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my ex he's rental to the place where get married, because he's always want to be married with me. He's never been married before. And one time he's just run to this office where they get married. And he's want me to ask and there what is need for we get married. But when he see the list, the things need to do, I think then he's give up.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's not talking no more about it after.
That's
So
interesting.
it's
So in Brazil, do you see, what do you see more of? Do you see more of couples living together, or do you see more couples getting married? And when I say, I'm talking about when there's no children involved at all.
it's still couples they married, but more and more peoples in Brazil they
Mm-hmm.
just
They live
start
together. Okay.
together.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How long do people typically date in that country before they say, "Hey, I want you to come live with me"?
Some people they just live together and after some time they just decide, okay, we get married.
No, I mean, I'm
So,
just wondering, like, you're dating and
but
you're.
what you asked, yes, I understand,
Mhm.
but now I already forgot.
Yeah, I was just curious, is that when people date, like,
Oh, for how long live together,
How
No,
long
how
right?
before they
long do
start to
they
live
date
together?
before they start living together?
Yes, it's depending how close you are, how you trust, how you fall in
Hmm.
like each other, fall in love, or
Hmm.
this thing, how you guys trust each other.
Hmm.
But on average, what are we talking? A month, a week, 2 months, 6 months? What do you think? Like, if you said on average, when you meet somebody after about 6 months, you move in together. Like, what do you think is the average?
Yeah, in Brazil, I see a couple times some women after like few days, 1 week, just move in to live with the guys, and after they
Ooh.
get a really problem.
Yeah, because they
So
don't know each
It's
other
in the
first.
news. It's in the news.
you said that in Brazil, it's 3 years common law. Like if you live with a woman for 3 years, you're essentially married. Is that correct?
Yes, in Brazil, if you live with the woman for one period, if you don't marry with prenuptial separation,
Uh-huh.
I don't think what you get in the United States, but what you have in Brazil, it's split.
So
Can
she's essentially treated like your wife after 3 years.
That's how it is here in a lot of places too.
So you
So
can
you
get
you
child, they
need
can
to
get
do the
child support,
contract.
all of that. All they can get all those benefits. She can file for child support, alimony, all of that after that period.
Well, child support, it's
yes,
just if you have a child. That's not
No,
just yeah,
I'm just using that as an
right.
example. I'm just wondering because I'm
right.
trying to play devil's advocate here. It's like, well, we're talking about
Yes, after
prenup, we're talking
2 years,
about divorce, and it's like, okay, well, I could just go live with a girl, and we could stay together for 3 years, and then basically, as far as the state's concerned, it's official, right? Without even having to have a judge, and we don't have to do any paperwork. We don't have to do anything. We can just live together for 3 years.
yeah, after 3 years, most the women they consider live out with no nothing.
Yeah.
But some women, they stay like more longer, let's say 5, 10 years. That's why I ask and after 10 years. I don't talk when I ask in the street, out in the street about it when they get relationship after 10 years with relation. They get separate. I not mean divorce. I mean just live together if the woman deserves something, And most the answer if yes, if she's built something together, of course she's deserved to
But
get
why why
some.
why is why why is it in these scenarios it's always the woman feels like she deserves something? Like
They,
men don't typically talk like that, right? When it's time for us to get divorced, we are not saying, "Oh, well, you know what? I've been your husband
men's
for
the
10 years, and now you
same.
owe me
Men's are the
something."
same. Some
Hmm?
I saw last week in the news. The guy just break the TV because he's not want to leave from the house with his family. His wife put him out. He's not want to leave. He say he's want to take some things in the house, and she say no. And they fight because one TV. And you know what he's did it? He's break the TV. He's broke.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm arguing. I'm just saying that.
Like it's not mine. It's not yours.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're going. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate because we always talk about when you said 10 years, and after 10 years, it's the question of if they go their separate ways.
10 years is a number.
Does she? I'm just using that as a number. Does she deserve something? And I'm asking why in marriages is it like that where after a certain period you don't typically hear men saying, "Oh, I deserve something," like like
Because
she has to
listen,
give me
because when I
something.
say the woman deserves something, it's mean the guy have the house, right? And have the job. And mostly the time the woman live with her mother, let's say. She don't have home, she live with her mother. And the guy say, come live with me, just stay here, we live together, I give you all, you don't need nothing, just come live, stay with me. And
Hmm.
the woman's just move to live with the guy. And then when the woman step her feet out from the outside her mother's house, for this woman come back, it's not the same. it's fight it.
I,
It's
I think I
bad.
think
It's a big problem. It's not the same what she's doing
I
there
think Hinata
before.
is giving
They're not accepted.
I think Hinata is giving a more common situation, and that's
Mm-hmm.
probably a more common situation. But there's
The family, they're not accepted. The woman come back.
but last week, or what, I know we spoke before about a woman that moved a guy into her house. So that also happens, but it's just not as common. Like a
Mm-hmm.
woman may be older, she might have a successful business, whatever. She moves the boyfriend in. He ends up staying. Hanata talked about this last time. He
Mm-hmm.
ends up staying, taking care of the house and stuff, and she went to work. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure after 10 years, it's going to be the same questions, but in reverse. The guy is going to be saying, "Well, I deserve something," right, Hanata?
Yes.
So,
I
and
don't
I
know.
don't
I
think
don't
they have
know.
a problem with that fairness.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's less of a problem in Brazil than it is, say, in America. In America, the guy's
Mm-hmm.
going to be shamed. The guy's
Yeah.
going to, oh, you need the money from the woman, and like. But I don't think it's like that in Brazil. I don't think it's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would be. Would it be embarrassing for the man to go and say, "Hey, I deserve something," Hanata?
No, some men don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
That's
guess it's
what
just
I
like you said,
say.
it's cultural differences. I guess.
Some men they just fight in the court because they live with the woman. Let's say the woman have a
Mm-hmm.
better position than him. They want to have same equal women's.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah. I'm
Can I
saying. I'm
step?
just. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, not to step.
Fabio.
I don't mean to step over you, Don Juan, but my bad.
No,
But
go
I
ahead, man.
just
It's all
wanted to
good.
go ahead and say that the difference with Latin America
Mm-hmm.
and of course Dominican Don Juan, tú siendo dominicano, you know where I'm coming from with this. The thing with
I'm not
the
Dominican, but that's just my
oh,
name. But
okay,
I
my
understood
bad.
you though. I'm not
Okay,
Dominican.
okay, but I know that in Latin America the
Mm-hmm.
mindset is totally different. That you don't
Mm-hmm.
have that third wave feminism in Latin
Mm-hmm.
America like how you have in the United States. That's
Okay.
why in the United States is so rough
Yeah.
because of that third wave feminism. Now you got the fourth wave feminism that they want to backtrack on what the third wave feminism is, talks about in terms of quote unquote equality when there's not equality. It's basically it's preferential treatment for women, like okay, let's say for example, you're an engineer, right? Because I'm an engineer as well, right?
Yeah, I am.
Let's say
Mm-hmm.
I'm an aerospace engineer. That's what I do as a trade. That's my trade. I'm an
Mm-hmm.
aerospace engineer and I'm a private contractor, right? I have my own small company.
Mm-hmm.
And and I meet a woman, we get married, we're together for let's say for 10 years. After 10 years she wants to divorce me. She gets to take half of my stuff. Why does she get to take half of my stuff? Just for the simple fact that her and I got married and she has my name legally, right? And that's just in the United States. Now, outside of the U.S., like in Latin America and like even in Europe, and even well, not so much the UK, but more so in Europe and Latin America, they literally split that 50-50.
I don't think I don't think it's because of name. I think it's
No, no, I'm
because
just saying that there's a difference. No, there's a difference between what goes on in the United States and in Britain as opposed to Latin America and in Europe because it seems to me that Brazil leans towards like how the Europeans do their divorces and their common law marriages as opposed to how America and the UK does it. Because
I
in
think.
America and the UK, they'll strip you like bare naked, literally.
Yeah,
They'll take
but
all
no,
your stuff.
but it all depends on the circumstances that, right? Like I know we hear all the horror stories about men getting raked over the coals and blah blah blah. When they file for divorce, but what they don't talk about though is that it's circumstantial, right? When you and the woman file for divorce, right? If it's amicable, like it's pleasant between two parties, you and her can sit down and hammer out a deal that you think is fair between both parties. Like Miss Renetta said in her example, when she got a divorce and the court told her, the people told them what she could get, she said no, she didn't want any of that, right? So so the same can be true in the United States. It's like, people don't talk about that, but that can happen when you and your woman, you file for divorce. the court can say, oh, well, you're entitled to all these things, but that doesn't necessarily mean she has to accept that. It depends
Yeah, but
on.
okay, hold on. I think a lot of those stories that we hear about
Yeah,
come from states that have like no fault divorce. You ever hear
yeah,
about that? It's
okay,
Right.
like no fault insurance. I get
Yeah.
into it and somebody hits me on the road, and
uh-huh,
now my insurance goes up, and it had not. It's
oh,
not
okay,
my fault.
okay,
My car could be parked outside, and I come
uh-huh,
outside in the morning, and somebody hit it,
uh-huh,
and they left a note, so I know who did it. And
uh-huh.
when my insurance finds out that it was in an accident, my insurance goes. I'm like, why is my insurance? It's a no fault state. Well, no
So,
fault insurance just means things are just
so
this is yours,
you
this is
saying that
yours,
you saying in
and
those
you
states they just get it regardless whether they want it or not.
yeah,
Oh,
like
okay, okay,
it's just the way it's set up. So I think
okay.
when we hear about those stories,
Hmm.
it's coming from those places that people really feel slighted, right? So
But I still feel like in that scenario, even then though, like because the states they can't force you to accept that, right? You can when again like it's the same thing. Like say for instance, you have children from a woman and she wants you to pay child support and she may take you to court, right? And the court can say, okay, well, based on the child support laws of our state, you got to give her, I don't know, whatever the number is per month, but but they will override that if when you and her come to court and say, you know what, me and her have come to our own agreement, and this is what we've agreed is going to be a fair amount to pay her for the child
yeah,
child
yeah.
support.
The court only comes into play
Okay,
when you can't resolve your own issues,
okay.
and then
Right.
they do it according to the laws, right?
Hmm.
So if you
Well,
can
that's all I'm
Right.
resolve your
arguing
own
about.
issue,
Divorce
but
is the same
un-
thing.
unfortunately, usually
Hmm.
when there's a divorce,
Hmm.
there's problems.
Yeah.
So they usually that's why it usually ends up in court, and then the judge has to step in because
Hmm.
you guys can't
You can't come to
figure out
terms.
what's fair and what like you how are you going to figure out what's fair when one person cheated, the other person feels slighted, and they want to screw you. You screwed me,
Well,
I'm going to screw you.
so I'm speaking from personal experience because that's what my experience was, right?
Mm.
When me and my wife exited when we got divorced, that's how it went down, right? We sat down and she told me what her terms were and I told her what my terms were. So and I guess to your point was it wasn't messy, it wasn't ugly, right? So when we
Mhm.
went to the court, it was pretty straightforward because they was like we had already had the lawyer draw up all the terms of what her and I agreed upon. And so when we went to court, it was just do you agree to these terms, and there was a rubber stamp. I was just advocating that is also another um, way that you can resolve your differences, unless obviously in case you live in a state where um, they say it has to be that way. I still feel like you can override that if you say that her and I want something different.
Oh, I was gonna say because where did you get divorced, Don Juan?
Well, I'm on the internet, so I'm not going to put all that out there, but
Okay, well,
you know what I mean. But
no, no,
I was in
well,
a. Go ahead.
I got divorced in the New England area. Let's just put it that way.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I know that in the South, it's a totally different beast,
Yeah.
especially when you're
Hmm.
going in the deep South, like Georgia,
Hmm.
Mississippi, Alabama,
Hmm.
Tennessee. Ooh, Lord,
Hmm. Yeah,
they
that's what I'm
will
saying.
rape
It can be.
you.
It can be. I know the court can be brutal. I'm just saying is that I do think that I'm just saying is that because remember, when you file, you're going to have a lawyer. She's going to have a lawyer,
Right.
and they'll be litigating on both of your behalf. And what I'm saying is that they can soften those blows before you actually go to court before a judge if you and her can come to some kind of agreement. Although to Dennis's point, 9 out of 10 times when it gets to divorce, it's already nasty and ugly. So either he's
Hmm.
bitter and he's going for blood, or either she's bitter and she's going for blood, or they both bitter and they both going for blood. That's when it gets ugly and
Yeah,
nasty. But
that's when the
that's
judge has to step in and make the
yeah.
decision.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, I'm saying that's when the judge has to step in. But if you can, when I got
Hmm.
my divorce, it wasn't there was no issues between us, and
Hmm.
we didn't. We went in, signed the papers, and then
Hmm.
the judge met us on Zoom and said, "Do
Hmm.
you both agree that you're not filing to get this or that?" And everybody agreed, and that was it. It was done.
Yeah, it's easier when it's that way because if it hadn't been for me, I might have been homeless.
I
you know.
I don't go nowhere to get divorced when in the United States.
Say that
My
again.
ex, he's just bring the paper and then I sign.
Well,
That's
he
done
had
in
to go
home.
somewhere. You didn't, but he did.
So
I mean,
Miss Renetta, in the state of in the country of Brazil, if what happens if he filed and he served you the papers and then you didn't want to sign them? How long does that period last where like he wants to file for divorce and you don't ever sign? Do they how does
then,
that process work? Does the court
then
enforce
it's
anything?
going
Well,
to,
that was gonna be my
yeah,
next question.
Yeah.
then it's going to the process,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it's
serving the papers, going through that's gonna take some time, right?
you need a lawyer, he's need a lawyer to
Uh-huh.
talk to the
Lawyer.
lawyer.
Okay. So you got to go to court at that point
Lawyer.
in time. So so that so they so that so
Yes.
that so Dennis, are we saying that they can just decree the divorce without even if the other person didn't actually want to sign, the court can decree it by law?
Yeah, they can, but it just takes time.
Okay.
It's like I know somebody. I'm not gonna say names or who it was, but somebody
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
the father took off, and the woman had to get custody of the child, so they couldn't find it. So what they had to do was you had to put an ad in the paper saying that you're looking for the person, and then you have to show the court that you gave a certain amount of time. It might be 30 days that you put this ad in the paper. Like it's a process they do, and
Mm-hmm.
and then they basically take the rights out of the hands of
Right.
that parent. And so with this marriage now, you're trying to get divorced, but you can't even find a person to serve them, or they're
Okay.
being
Mm-hmm.
difficult. Then
Mm-hmm.
you can go through a process where eventually they take it out of the person's hands and you can get your things. It just takes time though.
Okay. Interesting. So Miss Renetta, do you see like a high divorce rate in Brazil? And then if so, what age groups are you seeing that in?
Oh,
If
pull up
I
that.
see the divorce and how is the
You gotta ask again.
I don't know.
Okay,
I just know what I see with my friends and parents and family.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yes.
I can pull up something here.
Because I didn't look up the stats to see what the like the United States is, I think I did look it up in worldwide. They said Russia was one of the highest divorce rates in the world.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Divorce statistics. Okay, so um, oh, where did it go? Yeah, there you go. Well, see, this didn't really give the information that I was looking for, but people married less than 10 years are the highest divorce rate,
yeah.
right? 10 to 19 years, 24%, 20 years or more, 26.1%, but less than 10 years, 49.8%. But I don't know what the overall percent of men to women.
Yeah, I think
mean,
I was just wondering because I know she said that. I think my guess is my assumption is that those numbers are probably going to be because you won't get those numbers for the people that have lived together for 3 years. So technically they're married, but they don't count in the statistics. Correct.
Yes, right.
Okay. Let's get to the next one. Where do we? The next one was
The only thing I just think about it, if the most peoples now they live together instead married, the number which should marry is supposed to be going lower, right?
if people together longer.
I mean, now what I see, the most peoples they just decide live together instead married.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's mean the number of the marriage it's coming down for the statistic.
Oh,
Yeah, because they can't
the
count
number
them
of
because
divorces. Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just that Miss Renetta, it's interesting because in the United States, it's like there's the push here is for the exact opposite, right? Women here, or more inclined to be like, look, before we start living together, you got to put a ring on my finger, you know. Um, but again, that may be changing now. You know, Dennis can help me out with that. That might be changing. Maybe among the younger generation, that might be changing now, where people are saying, well, let's live together first. You know, let's try it out for a year, see how that works, and then maybe get married. But what ends up happening is that it never ends up happening. The people just end up just living together because
Yeah, I have one friend, some Brazilian women feel they thinking I'm not married with the guy, at least he's put one apartment in my name.
yeah,
So it's different to put say a ring, but
hmm
apartment, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things going on there. One, the new generation isn't like the old generation where
yeah,
women felt that they needed to have this big wedding and spend $50,000 and get a dress, and they would rather, they're more pragmatic, right? They'd rather
hmm
take money and get a house, take the
yeah,
money and do something else with it. So
yeah,
I don't think the pressure is there like it used to for women to. I think they're not as romantic as back in the day. Like they don't really feel that they need to do that. And also that social pressure and
hmm
religious pressure of people are less religious now. And
yeah,
and families don't look at it like, oh, it's a sin. You can't be with live with a guy. You can't leave the house without being married, or like those
hmm
pressures aren't there anymore. So a
yeah.
woman it's more acceptable for a woman to live with a man, period, whether they're
The
married or
shame has
not.
been removed.
Exactly. So
Well,
now,
in certain cultures, like I think you talked about that earlier, in certain cultures, their marriages are arranged. You don't even have nothing to do with love. It's just this is who you're going to marry,
yeah,
and that's what it is. So I think in certain cultures that still exists, but I
yeah,
do think,
definitely still exists in certain cultures, but the
yeah,
more westernized
yeah,
countries are becoming, and the more
yeah,
liberal, and women are becoming more equal,
yeah,
and they have more say, and with all birth control and everything else that's going on, women
yeah,
can we can they can they're not, their parents aren't going to come down on them for. You almost want to say, hey, before you get married, why don't you live together to see if you're really compatible?
yeah,
That never used to happen before. It would brought shame
yeah,
on the family if you
yeah, yeah.
don't
Right.
live together.
You shacking up with someone, so and so.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
what?
That's
So
too
yeah,
much
so I
fun.
guess I'm saying, yeah, I'm from a different generation, so that was frowned upon, but now, I mean, I do know that like different people I work with in different cultures that have children, like people from, India and things like that, a lot of their marriages are arranged, but now that they have children and then their children are bucking their ways, saying, that was great for you, mom and dad, but I don't want that. I want to be able to pick the man that I want to be my husband. I want to be able to pick the wife that I want, the woman that I want to be my wife. So they're shunning some of those cultural values once they come into some of the Western countries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Renata, I have a question for you. What's the trend now with this generation of Brazilians that are coming up now? What's the trend in regards to marriage? How is marriage viewed, and does it go in conflict with the tradition? Because I know that Brazil is also is a predominantly Catholic nation. So how do those do those views clash a lot with the Catholics and even with the Protestants over there in Brazil?
Renata.
Well, about religion, Brazil, it's a mix, it's not exactly one specific, most Catholic or most, it's completely mixed. Exactly. It's about what? I talk about the religion first because what he say.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Is there a clash between generations as far as marriage is concerned? Like how they look at marriage? Is there a like a clash? Do they bump heads? Like is there a conflict between how each generation views marriage?
Like what we were just talking about, like the with your grandparents would tell your parents, hey, you can't move in together until you're married. You have to get married. They're pushing to get married. Now, do you tell your kids, oh, you need to be married? Do you need, is that same kind of pressure?
No, it's completely changed. It's
Yeah, they're
completely,
more. It's more liberal, right?
yes.
Brazil. It's funny because Brazil, even though it has a lot of traditional ways about it, it's very liberal place, man. Like people just accept. It's different, man.
Yeah,
There's
I think what Gustavo
more
was just,
like
I
that.
think what Gustavo was saying that it's just weird because Catholicism is usually
I
associated with being very very strict, right? So to be in a country that's heavily Catholic, and then at the same breath be very liberal, it seems like those two odds are at opposite ends. Ideas are at opposite ends, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure it's more like that for the class up. You understand? High class.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's more like that, but also some guys and some women, they still like have a little bit argument with the father and the mom. We
Yeah.
know not to be doing big weather. We just have something, just want to have something simple, but they want to show for the social. You understand?
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
understand.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to show their social position. They want to
Yeah.
show yeah.
Yeah, and they want to make something bigger. They want they doing like correct things what people's they doing before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you believe in friendship after divorce? We pretty much answered that.
Absolutely not.
Seriously?
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh.
I'm joking.
Okay. Yeah, I think once
You know,
you're out,
it depends on the circumstances, man. Me personally, I don't lean towards that. So friendship after divorce, if we're done, we're done. You know, I mean,
I don't know
saying.
about that. I mean, like I said, it depends, right? Like, so Dennis, when you say friendship, you mean like we hanging out and we doing all this stuff
I don't
together?
know, Hinata. When you say friendship, does it mean like you're hanging out? You can ask Hinata because me personally, I mean, unless maybe you need a long time. I'm not trying to hang out.
Nah,
We broke
exactly.
up. There's a reason we broke up.
Right.
Yeah.
Not
I mean, we could be
compatible.
friendly towards one another, but
Yes,
we ain't gonna be
of course.
BFFs and we hanging
Man,
out
I
and
ain't
having
even trying to
dinner.
call. I ain't even trying to text her nothing. Like, nah, I'm good.
Exactly.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Hinata, you want to chime in here? What do you mean by friendship?
Yeah, friendship needs to be a friend, but not go out, hang out together, do things. Just be a friend, you know?
Just not be fighting. Just like if you have kids together,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, or you just talking about in general? Just be you
In
call each other up
general,
every once in
in
a while. Hey, how
general,
you doing?
general.
Yeah,
Oh, you
I'm
mean
not
to
trying
be
to hang out.
cordial?
Yeah, cordial. That's the word I was looking for. We can be cordial, but
Yeah, you
friends.
can be cordial, but I ain't trying to.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's like we're not talking on the phone, having intimate conversations and talking
Right,
about
exactly.
we going to brunch and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Nah.
man.
I think Hinata is a very romantic person. So
Yeah,
in her
yeah. I've
mind,
been
she
peeped
wants
that.
to
She is
be
a hopeless
buddy.
romantic.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Do you prefer to get married or live together?
I think we answered that one.
Yeah. And the last question was, do you start a marriage considering what happens if you get divorced? I say hell yeah.
Yeah.
You got to think about
Yeah, I
everything.
gotta say, yeah.
Yeah, you don't just leap into it, right?
But
So
Hinata, the romantic, what do you have to say?
What?
Do you consider to start a marriage? Do you consider what happens if you get divorced? You already said this. You said it the last
No, I just leave the feeling. I just leave the moment. I just when I go inside a relation, I think, okay, that's the guy I stay for the rest of my life. I don't think about break up or separate after some
yeah,
things
see,
happen.
she's a hopeless romantic. It's just like you when you buy a car, you don't think about having an accident, but you still get car insurance.
Yeah. Do you do
Right.
that? You guys have a car insurance? Of course you do. Because you
No,
never know. Oh, I'm a good driver. I'm a great
Yeah,
driver.
I'm a good driver. I'm a
But
good
you don't know
person.
the people on the
Right. And then as soon as you have an accident, you be like, damn it, I should have had some car insurance.
I'm a good driver.
I think
even if you're a great driver,
because she
there's
gets
people on the
so
road.
wrapped up into the feeling of love and all the other kind of stuff. And again, speaking from personal experience, when you get to the point when it's time for you to file for divorce, and the things that are said and the things that come out like at the end, you would be surprised that this person for somebody that, we used to love one another, and now look at it. Now look at this, right? Like when it gets to that point, sometimes like you're completely different from what you were in the beginning, even though when you went into it, you weren't. That's not what your outcome was. When I got married, I certainly was not going in it with the mindset of thinking of the end, right? But when that reality hit me, right, now I think very differently about marriage, because that is something that you have to consider, because you don't know when things may change with you, or things may change with her, or things may change with the overall relationship that may not be necessarily reconcilable, right? And I know I hit you guys with the whole religious thing in terms of marriage vows and stuff like that. Because where I came from, the way I grew up was that your marriage vows are supposed to mean something. So when you were taught till death do you part, for sicker or poor, better for worse. That's what basically when you marry somebody, that was the only way y'all got away from one another, is when one person died. That's it, right? It wasn't until oh, you cheated on me, now the marriage is over. But I know that's very, very traditional thinking. But so that's changing today. But when I went into my marriage again, I wasn't thinking about the end, right? So it's the same thing. I look at it with car insurance. If I buy a car, I don't think about having an accident, but I know that's possible that I can have an accident, so I get car insurance. And that's what some people look at the prenup as.
Yeah, and I think when you're younger, because when I got married, I thought that's it. I'm never getting divorced. It's for life.
Exactly. Yeah.
But now if I ever even think of marriage, I'm thinking about all these things. And
Yeah,
if
you have to
I'm telling
consider
my
it.
daughter,
Yeah.
hey, you're getting married, you want to get married, these are the things you need to look at, and I'm
Mhm.
advising them. Would you advise your son, hey, you're going to get married, make sure you do these things, make sure everything is okay? Or would you say, oh, you're in love, don't worry about it? How would you advise your kids, Kanata? Would you really be trying to tell them like how you feel, or would you tell them, hey, set up your things, make sure you're
Well,
okay?
I already know what she gonna say.
I just think, and I not advise because they are adult enough to they know what they wanted for their life.
No, you're a parent, you
So
always
I
do this
don't
for
going
yourself.
to tell my daughter, oh, she's married with this guy and married in this situation because he's have a money. So no, I don't go
So you're gonna
tell,
tell her
you know.
then, you're gonna tell her if she get married and she don't want to work, you're gonna be okay with that. Because there's a chance that she might get left with nothing.
No, I just want to her doing what she thinks she's supposed to be doing. If she want to go working, she's go working.
Mm-hmm.
If she not, but if I see something is going on, like it's not correct,
Mm-hmm.
of course I go sit to her and talk about it. Maybe I have something to talk about my experience or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when she's going to marry or have some decision about her own life,
Mm-hmm.
first I wait to see what it is,
Mm-hmm.
or just let her do it.
Mm-hmm.
If I possibly help out with her decision,
Mm-hmm.
at least she's happy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. Okay.
Well,
she's
that
not
seems a little bit.
anymore. She's a grown woman.
I know she's a grown woman, but the whole point is in my life, my biggest thing for me is I would rather learn from other people's mistakes so I don't have to feel the burn of going through the same mistakes that I could have avoided. So if I can look at
Right.
you and learn, hey, if I do this, this is a high probability I'm going to try to avoid it. So I want to give my child the benefit of my experience and say, hey, listen, this could happen. I know you're in love and it's all girl, you're love.
Yeah, but
Oh,
it's not all the childs listen. It's not all
I know,
Yeah,
but
you can't
all the
make them
you
act
do the
on
best
that.
you can
Exactly. It's like
to
you can
help
give
them.
them that, but that don't mean they're going to act on that, right? Like, we all want to do that, but I think that's her point. It's like that they're adults, they're grown. You can give them the counsel of your wisdom and say, yeah, I want you to do this, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to act on that.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
still got
the
to tell
thing
them.
is, the kids they growing, they turn like adult, and some peoples they don't see that. They think, oh, they still, my child or my baby. Some peoples they are like that.
Yeah, but you gotta teach them. That's your job as a parent.
Yeah, because you don't want to be in a situation where it all depends. Man, say like I said, it's different things are
That's
never black
why.
and white because
That's
you
why
can
when
go
they
ahead.
are kids now, sorry, but that's
That's
why when
fine.
they are kids now, I just say study a lot, just focus in the school. That I talk with them. I say get finished the school, have some nice job, some good job, make your life good, buy your own house, building your life,
So you
because
do
it's
tell them,
still,
you do tell them the advice,
yeah,
Renata.
now when they are kids, but when they are growing, when they are adult,
Well, I mean, you're giving them the advice. You're teaching them, and hopefully, this you teach them when they're a kid. So hopefully,
yeah.
when they're an adult, they
The
make the right
point is what
decisions.
we talked before. It's if my daughter going to marry, if I give her advice before she's get married, and I say no because she's adult enough to know what she's want to do.
Yeah, I know, but you still try to guide them. Like you still. But anyways, the hope is when you teach them as a child, when they get to that age, they make the right decisions. But if they get to that age and you see that they're still not, you still got to give them the advice. If they take it, they take it. If they don't, they don't. But you don't want your kid coming back and go, "How come you didn't tell?" Like I've experienced that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all as parents will experience that, right? I mean, I try to make sure that I don't experience what you just talked about. So with my children, I'm like, I tell them what they need, the benefit of my counsel, and then they can never come back to me with that argument to say, well, my dad never told me. I'm like, well, yes, I did. Whether you didn't want to act on it.
Yeah.
So that's a different story.
Racket Club says they want to hear more from you. You're from Brazil and you've been married before. Yeah. So Renata, she's got wisdom there. So I know she's talking to her kids. But I understand you're saying when they're adult they make their own decision. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying you always want to try to make sure that your kids don't get hurt. So
Yeah.
We all try
Okay.
to protect our babies, but at the end of the day, you know what? It's their decision. So I understand where Renata's coming from.
Yeah,
With
I
that, because
normally
she's right.
say when they are small, that's ours. But when they growing, we don't have kids for us. We have for the world. They flying. They go away. You know. They back sometimes to see it. Or when they need something. But they growing and they
Zulu
leave.
Zulu Time Production says nobody caught what Renata just said. She mentioned the issue of class in her country. That is a huge conversation that I'm sure most people, that I'm sure most don't really grasp. So there's definitely differences in class groups. So
Welcome to Latin America.
I mean, everywhere in the world, when you think about it, people with a lot of money.
Nah, not like Latin America, sir. No, sir, not like Latin America. And I'm letting you know from experience, brother, because not even in the African continent, which I visited as well, and not like Latin America. No, sir. Latin America is a totally different beast. Over there, in Latin America, when you're talking about Mexico, República Dominicana,
So
Cuba,
you
Puerto
talking about
Rico,
class in terms of what though? Can somebody break that down?
like your financial class, like the poor, lower middle class, upper middle class.
Oh yeah, because I know like in Latin America they have neighborhoods, right? Depending on is that based
Wow,
off of class or based off of income? I forget.
buddy.
Yeah,
It's worse than America. It's worse than in America.
They act different. They're more conservative usually, and they follow tradition that you would kind of see like a old school type of traditions.
Interesting. Okay.
More
You're
rules,
like
more
kind of like the
regulations.
Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about America. The richest families, they're not exactly usually liberal. They're more old school.
They're very conservative.
Yeah. So I think that's even more so in Latin America. Like,
oh boy, Latin America is a totally different beast. Because, like I said, not even in Africa is like that.
Okay. All right, guys. It's coming up, man. 3 hours.
Yeah, man. I'm getting ready. I'm
Oh,
getting ready to
wow.
pack it in myself. I got to get up.
So let's wrap this up, man.
Wrap it up.
We got to the last question. I can't believe they go so long. Oh my goodness. But it was a good conversation. I think it was it needed to be had. So the next one again is going to be about platonic relations, and then we want to get to what we discussed the last one about what was it about, Hanata? About women, if you would take them home or just take them or
Oh,
take them to your family.
the plastic dolls versus the natural girls.
Plastic versus
Yeah,
natural.
yeah.
I want to ask if anybody had, okay, what I want to do, this is an idea, and maybe somebody can help us. We still got a little bit of time, but I went online and I started grabbing photos, and I wanted to grab photos of a woman that I would stop if I was scrolling and I saw this picture. I'd stop and look at it, and I'd be like, oh, like, you know, if think about, imagine you're in a club and she's dancing in front of you. She's got the big parts, right? And you definitely be interested, but not interested to bring her home to meet your family. You know what I mean? That's where I'm going with this. So I want to get photos that it's like she's got crazy curves or crazy looking, because it's obviously that she's been gotten
Enhanced.
and you would definitely be interested in doing things with her, but you wouldn't want a relationship with her. So I want to get pictures of bodies that this is good. This, I would rather go with this girl that's obviously more natural than than this girl, as far as what relationship and having fun. Relationship and having. So if you guys have any photos like that or can point to a page,
You know, can I say something?
Sure.
Can I say something in regards to that? You know, I'm gonna be honest with you, and perhaps it's maybe my mindset. I don't know. Maybe you gentlemen and Hanata can correct me, but I don't look so much at I mean, okay, granted, yes, as men, we do look at a woman's body. We want to make sure we have a happy meal, you know, which is the whole combo. Of course, we want that. However, there are those of us that are enlightened, and I'm using the term lightly, that are enlightened, that we have to we look at a woman's mind.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know me, I'm a sapiosexual. I'm like, look, if you can't turn me on intellectually, I'm sorry, girl. You got to go. I don't care how fine you look. I mean, it'll probably be wham bam, thank you, ma'am. You know, don't call me, I'll call you. You know.
So you're saying she can be, as long as she's intellectually has intellectual depth and she look like Shrek, you good?
She don't gotta look like. I mean, come on now. She ain't gotta look like Shrek either, bro. But you know, but at least she's appealing to me. You know what I mean?
Hold on. I'm going to bring Charles in, but I have something to say. Oh, Charles disappeared. Charles,
that's not the norm for most men, though. We do that secondary, right? We do the other thing.
I don't think because the woman.
Wait. Let's welcome Charles.
What's up, Charles?
Okay.
Welcome, Charles.
What up, everyone?
Now,
Miss Renetta. Apparently, that's how you pronounce your name now. What's good?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. And how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Okay. Let me just say something. Okay, Gustavo. Yes, you want to be attracted to a girl's mind, but the reality is there has to be a starting point, and it's usually you visual first. So I'm not.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that.
I'm not talking extremes. I'm just saying. I'm saying there's even for me, there's been times that I'm like, oh, you know, I would definitely get with her, but I'm not taking her to the family barbecue because she's way too much. Like, and that was my point. Like, I want lines drawn, like, because Hinata seems to think that that's not a real thing.
The woman's supposed to be make you happy for the rest of your life, and you ever know because she's a stream of silicones.
if she's extreme to me, I it's like no, there's something wrong here. This is how
It's about taste, Dennis. Then it's about taste. So you never even supposed to be take her out for the club, even for have fun. At least also if you here look especially for the relationship. So why you just look for have a fun if you are here exactly for look for relationship and you waste your time just have a fun.
I'm just telling you something here. I'm saying to you, there's girls that I wouldn't want to bring home to meet my family because of the way because of what they're like. If a girl is triple D, you might be like, oh, it's just like when I'm scrolling through and I see a picture, maybe I'll be like, holy smokes, I'll take a second look. But would I want to walk with her on my arm? Would I want to take her to church with me? Would I want to take her around my family? And then they'll be looking at me like, yo, what? No, I
Facts.
mean,
And your mom's gonna grill her, your
yeah,
female relatives are gonna grill her, like she's gonna get the third degree.
it because to me it's a red flag
Or
almost
they're
like
just gonna disrespect her right in front of you, right in front of everyone,
exactly.
and embarrass her. They're like, "Oh, this relationship isn't gonna last," and then
I'm
And
basically,
it's bringing too much attention to me. I don't want that kind of attention. I want to be
so
with a pretty girl that
do
people go,
you
oh,
do you
she's
guys
hot.
think
But I
that
don't want to
this
be with some extreme thing.
so do you guys think in the silicone the woman's to have let's say silicone or the woman be extreme she don't have any character she's not a nice person.
I'm not saying that.
they're
I'm
they're
not
not
saying
gonna
that.
look at it like that. I mean, she could be a Rhodes Scholar for all we know, but they're gonna look at the physical and be like, "Nah, she's trash. Get her out of
So
here."
it's only about the taste what you guys take for fun what you guys take in the serious.
I'm saying that it can affect what you take seriously and what you take for fun. It can, if it's extreme. I don't want. I'm saying to you, if a girl, for me, and that's what we want to find out from guys, not only guys here in the room, because I think most of the guys in the room have kind of
Okay.
come to the consensus that we want something that's a little more natural. But I want to know about Brazilian men too, and Brazilian women
Okay,
what they feel.
thanks. Now another thing, sorry.
Hanata,
Hey,
we have something in the United States called the quote unquote girl next door. And most guys, that's what we go for, like the wholesome girl that is sweet, that's caring, that is down to earth. And that's what most guys in this country want. And that's why we're leaving the United States to come to Brazil to look for that quote unquote girl next door, even though she's about 8,000 miles away.
okay. So let's say then you say about the family, it's not look guy good to introduce to the family.
Mhm.
Let's say you more than 15 years old, 50 years old, and you met a girl 18, 19 years old. I'm sure you don't have any problem.
I'm pretty sure that all the women in my family would probably call the cops on me.
And what you doing if your family point this girl because her age?
I'm
You
not
bring
bringing
up-
it. I'm not bringing an
I'm not
18-year-old.
bringing an 18-year-old.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Is that what you're asking?
They're gonna start calling me R. Kelly and shit like that.
I'm not bringing that. What do I have? What do I have to bring an 18-year-old girl home, Hinata? No, that's not me.
Hanata, the lowest I would probably go is 25, and that's pushing.
Yeah, I'm about to say that too. 25 for me. Yeah.
She trying to get up there. She trying to send up to prison, man. What are you doing,
So-
Mr. Ned?
the girls like 18, 19, 20, they are also just for fun.
Yeah, they are just for fun, but at the same time, it's like I know in Brazil, it's the age gap is. I'm learning that it's not as a big deal as it is in the United States, but still 18. I have nothing in common with an 18-year-old.
Like that. For me, I'm looking more like 30. That's pretty much the youngest I'd go, 29, 30. Because then it's like this is a child. Like 18, like what do you have in common for me?
Absolutely nothing.
Exactly. So That's
Fun.
me.
Just fun.
Yeah, and even then, it's like
Huh.
you're okay.
I don't care if she's fun.
Hold on.
She's young.
Hold on.
I don't know if
Hold
I
on.
would go with any
Bye.
girl that's 18, even if it was just for fun, because that to me,
No, it's
that's a little bit. That's yeah. That's
they'll
not
call
really.
you. They'll
Yeah, it's
call
like
you.
dating your daughter, man. Ew.
Yeah, that's like they'll call you a groomer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that help, Renata? I know you were trying to make a point to counteract what we're saying, but
If you guys say so, but I'm sure
you don't believe
some
it.
guys don't have any problem
Yeah, I'm
Well,
sure some guys don't have any problem.
with
Some
I
guys
that.
don't have any problem with walking around with a girl like this. I've seen it on the beach, and I look because you know people go, oh yeah, you look at her. You of course I look at her. I'd be like, damn.
not
But
blind.
or a girl with that got her butt done that it looks ridiculous. But do I want to walk with her to church? Do I want to introduce her to my family? This is my girl, and all my family is going like this, looking at her butt and going, "Whoa!"
I got female cousins that would tear her apart. Like seriously. I got this one female cousin that basically, if I were to bring a girl like that over, she would just roast her like a Thanksgiving turkey.
This
Like,
is the
no, I'm
reality.
serious.
No,
Like,
and
basically,
Brazil
like,
it's more different. And the guys, they don't care. At least if they like the woman, we are the same. Doesn't matter
they,
how
we like the woman
the guy.
like Dennis said. We like the woman for fun to get our cardio in. That's that. But we don't,
Get
but
our
we don't see,
cardio in.
but we don't see anything, like long term. Like this is not like I'm gonna marry this girl. I'm just gonna, get my cardio in, get my practice in, and then bye. Move on to the next one.
Sorry, I don't know if Renata likes that answer, but
You don't like it.
it is what it is. Like if anybody else feels differently, please chime in. But I think that's going to be the consensus. The guy wants somebody that's
I
more
feel
natural.
differently. I can't just. I mean, women are beautiful to look at and what have you. Yeah, and I could say, hey, you know what? She's beautiful. Whoop you, right? But I don't know, man. There has to be a chemistry between that we have to connect mentally. That's just me.
And you're
Let's
not
say, for
gonna say,
example, and I'm gonna use Renata as an example. Renata, I would take you to a barbecue with my family, off top. And plus, we speak Spanish, so you'll be able to understand everyone. But I'm just saying, I would take her not the barbecue. Now,
Yeah, but
will I take an 18-year-old? Hell no. I mean, come on, man. It's like I'm robbing a
yeah,
cradle, man. I'm like a pedophile.
yeah,
You know what I'm
I'd hang
saying?
out. Yeah, I would hang out.
And what about a girl that's super enhanced? Would that be something that would be even if you talked to her and she was nice, but she had triple F's or whatever they are and big, like, would that be? That's why I wanted to.
If it's not natural, hell no. I'm bringing.
It needs a back break.
Nope.
There you go, Renata. Even Gustavo is breaking it down, and he's into the intellect, but there's still going to be lines that you got to, for you to get to the intellect, you have to get past the physical.
And we lost Gustavo.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to drop too, guys. We've been at this thing for over 3 hours.
Yeah.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Dominican Don Juan, there's just something I got to say.
sure.
It's not Renetta, it's Renata.
Yes, correct. I should know better, right? and Dennis. Well, the thing about it is that you know how people are creatures of habits, right? So I was so used to saying Renetta. You see the R, you see Renetta, and then it's just like in Spanish. There's certain sounds that have that H sound, like Jesus is what would typically be Jesus. You would say as Jesus, but I had never seen like in Spanish. I had never seen a word that began with R that actually had the H sound. So it like you see me saying all the time, Miss Bernetta. The whole conversation, I'm like Miss Bernetta when it should be Hanetta. So I do apologize.
It's like that.
Hanetta.
It's like that with French, and also with Romanian as well. where the
Mhm.
R is pronounced with the
H
with
sound.
well, not even an H sound.
She said
It's not even an
Hanetta,
H
right?
sound. It's
To me, it
I
sounds
mean,
like an H.
you can pronounce it Renata, but it's more of a heavy. It's more of a heavy H. It's like from the back of your throat.
Uh-huh. So Hanetta?
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Hanetta.
It's lighter though. It's
Hanata.
not heavy. It's not like Arabic. It's not like in Arabic
Okay.
how it's all the way from the back of your throat.
All right,
But
all right,
it's
all right.
Renata.
Really quick Portuguese
Right,
talking.
Renata.
Yeah, in the
Right.
beginning, like if you see an R word, it has that H sound, or as they pronounce it, ehi.
But
Now,
it's okay. I love it when they have the accent to say my name, like Renata, Vini. I just don't like when they send a message and call me Renato.
Nato.
Oh yeah, no,
That's a
Renato,
guy's
no.
name, guys.
but now,
Renata.
but back to the R. Like now, if it sits in between
Yeah,
two
I
vowels,
have a few guys just put Renato in the end with O when it's me.
Yeah, that's a
masculine.
guy.
Yeah.
Right, that's
yeah,
masculine, right?
Go ahead, Charles.
that's a pretty common name
And
too.
I think, oh my God, no, this is a little bit too much. Renato, no, let me correct this.
Yeah.
But the other ones, it's cute when
Yeah.
I hear my name pronunciated.
Okay.
But the way, like when the R sound in Portuguese makes that R sound is when it's in between vowels.
Oh, okay.
That's when it like
Yeah.
Barbara or something like that.
Okay.
Now, yeah, so Hanata is her name, but yeah, when we anglicize it, it's Renata. Like,
Mhm.
if you notice, she says restaurant a lot when it's supposed to be restaurant.
Oh, okay. I
Right.
got you.
Restaurante.
Yeah, restauranti. When it's supposed to be restaurant. I mean, it's no big deal because, like, before I learned, I'm like, why the hell do Brazilians and Portuguese people hate the letter R so much? But then I just learned that's just how it is.
This
And
is
like,
how it is. Okay.
yeah, and for example, the letter X makes a sh sound.
Right.
Wow.
It's the
Yeah.
same thing, and it's similar to well, it depends where in Latin America, because the X sound would be the SH sound like in Mexico. And in Spanish, of course, it's the J sound, the H sound, right?
Yeah,
But
the J makes an H.
but in Mexico, it's actually Mexico in the Aztec language, which they've anglicized the Aztec language as well, where they blended it with Spanish and with Portuguese, because the Portuguese were in Mexico as well, believe it or not.
Portuguese say
Portuguese,
Mexico.
we
They say Mexico.
Mexico.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Portuguese were in Mexico as well, so they pronounce it Mexico or Mexico.
Mexico.
Right, Mexico. Right. That's what I said, Mexico. That's how they pronounce it, Mexico in Mexico. And how we in American in the Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah, Spanish is Mexico.
Right. In the Anglo-Saxon dialect, it's Mexico. In English, it's Mexico, but in Spanish, it's Mexico.
Let me read off a couple more things because we're going to close soon here. I just want to get everybody's questions in. Would it be wrong to ask Kanata why she got divorced, since we're talking about marriage and divorce? She's from Brazil. Inquiring minds want to know. It was infidelity. Can I just say that? You don't want to. I don't want Hinata to start talking and get into details because she'll tell you everything.
No, it's because it's different plan, you know. When I was together with my ex, I was 17 years old. He's 56.
Jesus.
Wow.
Christ. What the hell?
Damn. What you know about cradle robber? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He's look good. He's look like 40 years old. All my friends say
That's
what
still
in the
crazy.
telly for
Yeah,
kids
but
is this?
still, come on, man.
But we see that's why
he's supposed to be in jail right now.
That's why she has the viewpoint she has. Why she's looking at us like we're full of it when she tells us about, oh, wouldn't you go with an 18-year-old? And we're saying no. She doesn't believe it because how she's lived different.
No, not because only my experience, but because what I see.
Exactly, you're in Brazil.
Also
I saw many guys
older
when
guy.
they go around with they stay with many young girls. They look for young girls like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
I'm only looking for a younger woman so I can have kids.
So that's what I say. So the young girls for have fun, it's okay. But also, of course, some guys they just say something here, but from the truth, it's not the reality what they think about it. Let's say something like that. Same when I doing the interview. Some this women's, I think it's not 100% like this way. When I doing the interview, I stop by myself after talk with my cousin, and I think, oh come on, I don't think she's serious about that.
Well,
Not
I can talk for myself, and I'm serious
because
about it.
talking, people can talk many things, but to live the moment, to have the experience, only you can tell after.
Well, I'm sorry, man. If you see me walking into my house, my family's house with an 18-year-old girl, there's something wrong.
Okay, you don't
That
need to
then
walk.
take me to the doctor to
your
get my head
family.
checked.
I swear, somebody in your family will call
I
the
mean,
cops.
yeah, it's possible,
That's just not
But
me.
never say never when it's have a chance.
Well,
You never know.
Hanata, let me interject
Going to
quick.
Brazil, of course, I've had a chance. There's young girls walking around. I'm not attracted to that. I'm not trying to go for 18. 18-year-old look to me in Brazil looks even younger than 18. Because
Yeah, real
Brazilian,
talk.
like the
Yeah.
girls in Brazil aren't developed like
They
in the
never
United States.
say never because we never know what's the future reserved for us.
Okay,
No,
Renata,
because like
come on.
in Brazil, a 23 or 24-year-old could look younger. Like,
Exactly.
no lie.
So
Yep.
don't try to never say never argument. Don't bring that. Like that's
Yeah, but the reason for that I get divorced, it's different plans,
different plans. But then when you were married the second time, that's what I was talking about.
What?
The second marriage.
Oh, the second time he's unfaithful.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Infidelity. Yeah.
The second.
Okay.
So you've been married twice,
Yeah.
3 times.
3 times.
Girl, please.
No, officially married, only one with the American man. The other ones, father for my kids, is 3 kids, 2 different fathers. I will only live together.
Oh.
So you only been married once, and the
I
other 2
only
were common law marriages.
Yeah.
Baby daddy drama. Gotcha.
I think there's.
Sorry, I'm running on Windows or Internet Explorer.
Yeah, I gotta drop, guys. I'll stay on for the. Have you decided what you're going to talk about on the next subject?
Yeah, let me just run through this. Okay, so somebody asked how old Hanata is. Age?
37.
Oh, you see, Renata, see a woman like your age, I'll deal with that. 37, all right, cool. I'm cool with that.
Stop lying, man. Just stop capping.
Nah, I ain't capping. Nah, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. 37, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, all right.
How
We'll
old do
see.
you think I am?
All right.
To me,
35.
young in the picture.
Wow, God bless you, son. God bless you. You know,
In the
I'm
picture.
47.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
See, I
So
look young.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you've been blessed with some genes then, but
I'm telling you, black don't crack. But
yes, indeed.
you know what I'm saying? But you
Yeah.
know, I'm like, I'm 47, so 37 for me would be good. I'm like, yeah, I'm good with 37. You know what I'm saying? But 18?
Yeah.
Hell no.
18.
Hell no.
And no R. Kelly on the show here, bro.
Christian G says most
We don't do that
Brazilian
over here.
most Brazilian women either have had some enhancements or want to get some enhancements.
That's
but
not true.
The thing is,
Partially
if it
true.
looks natural,
Yeah.
it's all good. When it out of control, for me, no.
I would say partially true because people in the United States need to understand Brazil has a heavy workout culture.
Yeah.
Especially Rio.
Yeah.
They got a heavy workout culture.
Yeah, definitely.
They may have some enhancements here and there, but they're not getting BBLs.
Yeah, exactly.
promise you that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're in the gym, they're working out, they're getting the squats in and all the other
Yeah.
exercises.
Yeah.
There's this one girl on Instagram. Her name, I think, is Caro Vaz.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to God, if you send your girlfriend to her, she's going to kill her.
Yeah.
She's going to kill her. But guess what? Whenever she dies, you're going to want to bury her
face down. Yeah.
because that ass is gonna look amazing.
Yeah, they serious with the fitness over that bad
They
boy.
are.
Oh
they
yeah,
Okay.
Latin
But no,
America, period.
but what
Yeah.
I'm saying
Hours
is,
and 18 minutes. We're going for
but
a
what I'm,
record here or something. Okay, so let's wrap it up, guys. Thank you,
Thank you.
Gustavo, Charles, Dominican, all the people in the room. Thank you again. Thank you for all the support this week. We had a lot more uh, donations, and that definitely helps. And I want Hanata to get out there and work. So yeah,
real
thank you
quick,
for that. And yeah, so let's wrap it up, guys.
what's Thursday's show gonna be
Kenata,
about?
what's your
Thursday show?
what's your IG? What's Renata's IG? Does she have IG?
Yes, she does. Here it is. Where is it?
Ouch.
It's the same for the channel name. Brazil,
Oh, Brazil. Okay,
with Nata Lopez. Yes.
Renata Lopez. Gotcha.
It's the same. Yeah, that PayPal that's the.
All right, so
Cash App Brazil. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna drop some coins there.
so what's
No, but I'm
Thursday's show
saying the
gonna be about?
PayPal Brazil with Renata Lopez. At Brazil with Renata Lopez. Why did I erase it?
And remember to say Hanata. I got it this time.
$5 says we'll pay for net on the next one.
Yep.
Actually, I'm gonna bet you a 6-pack of Brahma. You'll say it.
All right, bet me. I got it though. Bet me. But that's a bet. That's a bet.
Okay,
That's a bet.
there it is. There it is.
Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, to like the channel.
Yes.
Oh, I'm already
What is
done.
your-
I did that already.
On Instagram, and also they have my WhatsApp number in case somebody wants to send audio or send something. Yes.
All right, so what's Thursday's show gonna be about?
Truth of friendship, or always have second intention.
Platonic relationships, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Yes. We talked about that the last show about guys that are friend zoned. If they can really truly be friends, that's a hot topic here in America and in the manosphere. All these red pill guys, they say that women and men can't be friends because the guys are always
They
have that
can't-
second
they can't if
intention.
she's
They're
fat and ugly.
yeah, they're who said it? Somebody said they're satellites. They're just
No,
circling
they're in
the woman,
orbit.
waiting for that
They're
opportunity.
in orbit. They always have men in orbit. They're men are they would be in her orbit like the airport. You know how the flights are circling in orbit. That's most how she'll keep the guy in a friend zone. He'll just be in orbit of her
That's
in her
because they're
circle.
waiting. A perfect analogy, because when they're doing that, they're actually waiting for clearance to land.
Exactly. Exactly.
But
Exactly.
no, there was something I wanted to say because I heard something that you guys have said on my way home that I wanted to touch on. You guys said that Brazil is pretty liberal or whatever. It's actually not. In fact, I thought it was like the most, I guess, free country in South America.
No, it ain't.
It's really not. And I mean, Rio, of course, Rio is Rio. Can we agree on that? Rio is Rio.
Yeah.
The rest of Brazil is very conservative.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't
Extremely.
know that, but just because what I see with the people seem very open, but maybe it is I haven't been to enough places in Brazil to
I mean,
know.
everyone is
That's
always
good. That's good information.
everyone
In
is
Bahia,
open,
people are
everyone-
nice, but they're very conservative over there in Bahia. That's where I've been to.
From what I heard, Bahia is the Mississippi of Brazil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's interesting.
Real
Wow, I
talk.
had no idea.
Okay, Renata, there's a question here from Lucas. Lucas Balcunas. He says he's a gay man looking for a handsome Brazilian gay man. So can you help him find a man?
Yes, and the video have some, and my Instagram also.
Okay, hit up Renata on her Instagram.
And can I interject another thing? one thing I've noticed, like, because we talked about like Brazil with conjunction with the rest of Latin America. In most Latin American countries, you go after the women, the dudes are ready to like chop your heads off and stuff like that. Not literally, but they are very protective of
Jealous,
them. In Brazil, the men are actually, and I forgot which YouTuber said to befriend the gay guys in Brazil because they're the ones that are going to hook you up with the finest women.
Oh, really? That's a good point.
Because like a lot.
Stop giving away the secrets. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Yeah,
I'm just playing. No, that's true. That's facts. That's facts.
And free game there.
Yeah, but need to be careful when you come close to them. Maybe they misunderstand the things.
Yeah, that's true. You better make it clear from jump.
They might get confused,
we just friends.
They be like, "Hi, Charles."
Like, You be like, you better make it clear. But look, we friends, and that's it. You my boy. You know.
They get confused, boy.
Yeah, don't. You better make it clear from jump.
Okay.
They will chase you.
So let's wrap it up. It's almost 3.5 hours here.
Okay, guys.
But I just got here.
Gotta go, man. We'll
Ciao,
be early on Thursday show.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Again,
thank you. You have a good night, guys.
Welcome to the Thursday show, and we'll see you guys again. And Renata, take us out.
Renata, boa noite até na quinta-feira.
Kisses, guys.
Have a
good night.
Beijo.
Good night.
Tchau, boa noite. Boa noite.
Bye. Good night.
Boa noite.
Bye.
Good night.
Boa noite.
All right, everybody is out of the room. Ciao.
That's nice live tonight. I like it. Very good info.
Okay.
Many guys participate. It's really good. You know, comments. It's always good. Thank you guys. Many things. I love it. I appreciate it. For participate for everything. This is for donation and everything. Thank you.
All right.
Now let's go.
Okay, guys. Ciao, everybody.